Hey,
Hello, hello, hello.
what's going on?
Uh, you tell me. It's been so much going on.
It's been a lot going on. Welcome to another Thursday of Beyond the Filter. We have Ava Alexandria with us today. A former Miss Everything Plus chat. But it has been a lot going on today. What do you make of like all of this drama in the LBC? It's kind of hard being Snoop D or Double G.
Sometimes I think, when stuff like this is going on, I just sit back
Hey
and I
Kim.
just say, is this reality? Are we living in an alternative reality? Are people really, because sometimes it reminds you so much
D
of
West, love you too.
junior high school and high school. And it's just wild to me that that people absorb things so easily. And yeah, but everybody is built different. Everybody has different ways of dealing with things, and everyone has different ways of handling things. And I can't, because my boss tells me all the time when I'm talking about my staff. She always tells me, she says, you can't expect everyone to work at the same level as you do. She said that's the way that you're built. So I guess I just kind of have to think about that the same way as it relates to these different issues and
Hey
everything
Bogey.
that are
Hey
going
Mercedes.
on in the community. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it gets crazy too. I was just thinking back over all the drama that I into this week, and I was just like, oh, is this shit even worth anything in gold? Like, can I spend it? Can I put it on the resume? Can I do anything with it? Like, I really ain't
Yeah.
trying to create that type of drama. You know what I'm saying? I'm just on a show giving my opinion about something, and I know sometimes, although our opinion ain't warranted all the time, we signed up to do a podcast where we talk about certain things, and I see now that a lot of people get struck differently. Like it got to make them feel a certain way sometimes to hear their name called and not a good light because we only want to be seen in a good light, right? We always want people
Right.
to praise us and never have an ill thing to say about it. That's how we would like things to be, but unfortunately, things happen. And I don't know. Sometimes people have the mental capacity to even be talked about or be brought up as a subject sometimes because like like I was saying with my thing with Ricky, that like everybody was recording, but because it was me who does a podcast or as he state the little Zoom call that we do,
Hmm.
it's something already there that he can't wait or people can't wait to attack or try to defend themselves in a certain way, and it ain't even about that. You know what I'm saying? So my apologies to anybody. I don't even like that apology shit. My apologies
Yeah.
to anybody that feels so convicted that I've wronged them in some type of way or said something to hurt them or break them down. Truly not my intention. I'm just trying to, I'm just being a fucking comedian at the end of the day, just making light of shit, but when reporting what we see too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a hard
Mhm.
line in between that, but I'm like, I ain't really truly trying to be out here fighting no motherfuckers and shit. I'm 45 years
Right.
old, trying to figure out a way to dye my hair and make it stay longer than a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not.
and I totally get your point, and I understand where you're coming from, and I think that because I think even when you're talking about people who do this on the national level, on CNN and all this kind of stuff, even they are very mindful in the way that they discuss situations, even if they're talking about a specific person. But if you notice, whenever we're talking about subject matter, I try to make it about the subject at hand and not so necessarily about the person, because I do know what it feels like to not want to be talked about. So I try, and especially if I don't know everything that makes that person who they are, and I don't know all of the intricacies of what happened. So I try to be a little bit more discerning, not to make it about the individual per se, but more so about the situation at hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Joshua.
Yeah, but
Joshua.
but to your point about what you said, you have to remember that you are a celebrity in this community, not only based on because of the show, just because of who you are in the industry, in your profession. And so some people's voices are louder and the things that they say carry more weight, and people listen to things that our celebrities say more so than they would other people. And
Yeah.
so when you talk about when he saw you recording, and then he may have been triggered about that because he thought, okay, now I'll be a subject on the show. Just think about, he saw that your celebrity and the platform that you have, and that you could have you're going to have the capacity to make it a bigger thing for that reason, And had you not been a part of any show, of course, we have our own thing here, and then we also have the show over on the other side with our point of view. You know, what that I
Thank
mean
you,
that
Arlene.
so that could also be a triggering thing, So it may not have necessarily been about you per se. It could have been if either one of us that's a part of the show was doing that.
Correct.
He probably would have felt the exact same way, because I know that a lot of people may feel that their situations, not only by us on our point of view, but a lot of people feel that those of us that are on these platforms, that we exploit them and we exploit their situations, and that it doesn't necessarily. Sometimes it may seem like we're not doing it to, you know, in a constructive way. We're doing it to, exploit them in a way, and so
Embarrassing.
yes, yeah. So you never can dictate how people respond. We don't know what triggers people. Like you had said that your grandmother used to say some of those same things
Yes,
about you,
girl.
said about you in that moment, and
Yes.
so you could have totally flipped.
I almost did.
Yeah, I mean, you could make that could have been a very triggering and flipping moment for you. So
I don't know. I
so
guess we
I
can
so
show. We got to show each other more kindness and more compassion. I guess. But people be out here
yeah.
making a straight ass of themselves, and if you know you're out here making an ass of yourself, expect people to say something about it because the news ain't always kind. TMZ reports stuff all the time. And ain't nobody paying us like they paying
I
them.
get
But
that.
it's people can't report what you don't do. You know what I'm saying? It can't be just hearsay or whatever. But I don't know. It can be so conflicting at times. But I ain't trying to fight with no
It
religious
can
stuff.
be. It can be.
Because I feel at 45, I ain't got to prove to nobody I know how to fight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, no, I get it. And once again, as the three of us were talking about earlier before we came live, that a lot of times it's about the
Shut up,
delivery.
Roger.
Sometimes it's about the delivery and how you're talking. Because are you
James
just reporting what happened, or are you
being messy.
also demeaning the person in the same at the same time? I mean, does that make any sense? So it's a very delicate balance. Yeah. But
So
that's
what
but
do you
that's just
do?
that's just me. But that's
So
just
what do you
me.
do about it?
Huh?
What do you do about? Because now, as we seeing today, Romel and our co-host Chevelle is like in a knockdown back and forth right now,
Yeah.
right? And I was
Yeah.
saying, like, it ain't the only we ain't the only person we're not the only group of people that get online and say things about what's happening in the community or what we think about somebody. Why, like it's going like this lady from Texas. And I was saying to myself, I said, this has to be personal. This has to
Mm.
be something personal that this person feel. And I was just like, because to say that about her, then you got to say it about somebody else too. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Um, And then, but he never said our name. He never said he only said that lady in Texas, and
That-
so I don't even know. We knew that was Chevelle he was talking about. We could tell the subliminal, but I don't know.
yeah.
I hope they can even talk about it because that's her best friend's child, so I hope they can really have a conversation and get past that. Who knows? Our guest we have on today, you know, she's been live before to talk about her grievances with people too that we will talk about later. You know what I'm saying? Um, our next guest is a very outspoken diva. Um, yes, she's a talented diva. She's one of the most
Very much so.
talented girls I've ever seen in the business. I don't know if I ever told Ava this, but I've already respected her. I mean, Ava used to get into it, like blow down, get into it about, like saying the things of the things to each other. But it wasn't because I hated Ava. It was just like, and we'll talk about it later in the show too. It was just, it was this Tanisha thing. I just felt like I had to be her watchdog and her guard dog, even in situations that didn't even cause for it. You know what I'm saying? It was just being too protective, right? And we would butt heads
Yeah.
about that because sometimes she'll whoop Tanisha ass in the past. Tanisha turn around, whoop her ass in the past. Like, but I've always respected this entertainer because Ava was running against small girls like them bitches didn't even matter. Like she had a waistline that them bitches would only be jealous of. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
she was fearless, right? And I've always respected her. And back when the Stars of the Century was big, and when they left tracks and came over to the jungle, she was a part of the cast.
Yeah.
And you know how you always say, well, the plus girl. You didn't even call her plus because she was hanging with hoes. Like Raquel come turn the show, Jasmine come turn it, Stasha come and turn, Ava come and turn that motherfucker upside down, just as if she was just as small as a bitch, and she always wore the tallest heel that ever seen on the plus girl. So I think at heart, Ava is 150. I think it's hard because she ain't never been scared of the bitch. I always respected her. She remind me of I always tell her, I don't know if but I have told it. I had a best friend growing up named Willow. She reminded me so much of her, and when I look at her, that's who I see sometimes. So, how did you meet Ava?
Well, the first time I saw Ava, and and whenever I comment on her post, I say it all the time. I had come to Atlanta for for some reason, I don't know why. I want to say I was there for Black America, but it was they
Thank
were
you, baby.
when Janet Jackson had came out with the 20YO album.
Okay.
And that was my very first time at the Stars of the Century. And Ava was there. Well, Janet was there. And then
Oh
Ava,
wow.
of course, was there.
You
And
saw
baby,
Janet?
yeah, she was there at the Stars of the Century that
Oh
night.
wow.
Her and her backup dancers, Kaya was there. And child, Ava had came out there and did Fergalicious. And when I tell you that lady had got her a old filthy, dirty, trashy, nasty piece of that dance. And I had never, it was just next level to me. And so I never forgot her from that point forward. And every time I see her or every time I comment on something she does, I'll say, "We're not gonna get to see Fergalicious," and she'll say, "I ain't doing that no more." But that was my first introduction to her. You can always tell she's very unapologetically herself.
Mhm.
She commands a stage. That's for sure. And I also loved her because I was a major fan of Angie Stone.
Oh
And
yes,
that's who she
Angie, my girl.
reminds me of. And I was just like, she is so beautiful to me. And then the thing about it is that she's a chocolate woman. And I do believe that there is colorism in our community. But when I tell you, she is one of the most strikingly beautiful people I've ever seen. And like I said, I just love the way that she embraces her. I love her presence on stage. Yeah, so that was
Um,
that was my
Shut up,
piece.
Shavonna. Shavonna said that's something I always told her. Those numbers were comical.
Shabana Lee, it was not comical, Shabana. She had cut it up. She had tore that
Shabana,
place apart.
goddamn fool. Well, without further ado, we're gonna bring in the Ava Chanel Alexander. Hey, Ava.
Hello. I just been sitting back, collecting my roses.
Okay.
Hey, Traja. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous.
That's what's up. Well, thank you for coming on to talk to us and sit down and have a good old conversation with us about your life, your life, your life.
It felt good hearing some of the things that you all was saying. Sometimes we need to hear those things.
Yeah. But
And,
also,
and I'm one of those people, like y'all stated, that the confidence is there, but it's a self-awareness
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
about it. But it's different when you know that other people see you.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's always, listen, I always tell people that it's always good to feel important, right? Because that's what we do it for, to feel important for something. I wouldn't want to go around here doing makeup and nobody never say, Trent, that's beautiful. Like, I was like, God damn, why can't nobody, they don't appreciate this shit, but it's always good to be known for whatever it is that you're doing. Hey, Samuel. But thank you for deciding to do this with us. I know you already done the podcast. You already touched your story before, but we're gonna go places if you allow that. That you get to tell your story, and people can really see who the Ava Chanel Alexandria is. Because I look at your story as an inspiration. Because I've been around for a minute. You know, my very first time at Black America, I saw you compete. You had the red sequin stuff on. You remember? I think Jamacia won that year.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my first
Hey,
time meeting
Karen.
Catherine.
Yeah, we all came down there. A slew of us came from Memphis, and a slew of us went right back home. They didn't give us the bus; they gave us the U-Haul. Okay, um, but I've seen you around. I've seen your story go from good to bad, then back to great. And tonight I want us to take the people on a journey about who Ava is. In your words, who is Ava?
Okay. Hmm. Ava is the result of, like people always say, a village. It takes a village. I am the results of, let's see, Martika Alexandria, now known
Okay,
as Delaney Hall Dickerson,
shout out to Martin.
Mirage Alexandria, Fabian Sanchez, Wachovia Star, um, Andre Star. So many people who poured into me from when I was just a little. I call myself an it because I tell my friends, they be like, "Oh, when you was a butch queen," I said, "I never was a butch queen. I was a it. Me and my best friend, we came out. Everybody thought we were girls, but we was just regular little fat boys, and we didn't realize we looked like girls. So I was a it, and they saw something there that I had no idea was there because when they used to say, "Oh, y'all gonna do drag?" I'm not putting makeup on my face. I just felt that way, not knowing that I guess life was putting me in position and connecting me to the people that were going to pull me on track because I was off,
Mhm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
to help me understand who I was and to take me where I needed to be in order to live a happy life. Because I honestly, had I never been to a club and saw a show or even became a Ava, I don't know where I would be.
Wow. So do you in a sense feel like drag saved your life?
Yes.
Okay. So growing up, when did you realize you was different?
Now that's kind of funny because I I knew looking around I was not like other boys, but I felt like I was a normal boy. And but it was like I just thought different from them. I remember being 4 years old with my cousins and we playing superheroes. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm Wonder Woman. But I can't be Wonder Woman. She a girl. So I'm like, I'm Wonder Man. I'm Wonder Woman's husband, And I didn't understand, but that was my way of being Wonder Woman. And I used to play with my cousin dolls and do their hair. She had an easy bake oven. Y'all might not be old enough to know. But
Oh,
I
I
wanted to
know.
cook with the easy bake oven and all of this. Like even going into elementary school, I remember going to the bathroom and instead of just going to the bathroom and using it like a normal person, I'm like, I wonder what his look like. That's, that's
What?
yeah, way back then. I was like,
So
but
so
I
how
just
was your so how was your family? Because so you knew that you were different. You were playing with dolls. You were playing with easy bake ovens. What were your parents like? How were they reacting to all of this?
um I'm sure they probably talked amongst themselves because I feel like
Mhm,
mothers know. She had
Mm,
to have
mhm,
known,
I think
you
so too.
know. Um, and I distinctly remember this, and this something that kind of stuck with me my whole life, unfortunately, in a negative way. Um, Probably being around 8 or 9, somewhere in there. I remember my grandmother on my mother's side. She was like, if you gay, Al, go on and tell us so we can disown you.
Oh my God. How old were you when
And
you
I don't
when you
know if she was playing. I don't know. I was too young to even comprehend
Yeah.
a joke versus reality. I just took what she said to heart. And from that day, I just looked at her a different way.
Mm.
mhm.
And I didn't realize that it affected me so much until when I was literally at her funeral. And I'm looking at my aunts and my cousins, and they're just boo-hooing, and I'm looking just like right now,
Oh,
unaffected. And I thought something was wrong with me. I'm like, why am I not crying? It was because that one remark
mm,
probably clipped something there and made a disconnection.
mm,
But growing up, or let's just say, when I did realize who
okay.
I was and started to be myself or be more free, like for my high school graduation, I used to go. I started late, going there doing it, all the trends. I started growing my hair out in like the 12th grade. I went and got finger waves after everybody else, so they was probably not doing it anymore. But I went and got finger waves and
Finger waves used to be the T.
uh,
Finger waves used to be the T. I used to know how to do them.
okay. So the boys would say little stuff, and I'm like, whatever. So, honey, for graduation, it was this girl who was in my class who did hair. I went to her house, and I had took some weave over there. I was like, oh, I want you to do the push waves in the front. I want a swag in the back, a
Mhm.
shag in the back. She was like, oh, like a rat tail. I was like, no, 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 like Tony Braxton. Tony Braxton had the short haircut and had it laid on her neck like that. That's what I wanted.
Oh my
And
God.
she was like, really? I was like, yes, like Tony Braxton.
Not you want to breathe again.
So, baby, and I remember going to graduation rehearsal, and I'm just sitting there, just pooched. And the girl behind me, she was like, is that weave in your head? I'm like, no, this is my red hair. You know, She's like, I know weave. I wear weave. And I was so embarrassed because all the boys started calling me Prince.
Oh
And
wow.
but I went home and I snatched that weave out of my head before graduation. But like even then, I had my nails done. They was short, but they was American manicure. I remember my aunt just looking at my fingernails, and I was like, "She probably think they mine." You know, I don't know what she thought, but I never saw anything more than stares from my family.
Okay.
They never
Mhm.
questioned me. Now my stepfather, who I despised, and probably still do. Um, I remember he probably saw what my mama saw, and he tried to get rid of it, but it was like you can't get rid of what's there, and that's not your place coming in as a replacement. But I remember my mom them asking me, I was probably 11, 12, are you gay? I was like, no, I have a girlfriend.
But did you have a girlfriend for real?
No, no.
So listen, you never been with a woman, period, though. Oh, okay. Oh, you real fish now, baby.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Now I'll keep it real, like probably somewhere around 2010. I met this guy online and I wanted to have him, but he was like, oh, my girlfriend wants to join us. And I'm like, what the fuck? So my girlfriend, she's a slut. She was like, girl, you should do it just to say you did it. So I did go over there and they got me drunk and ordered pizza and stuff. And I touched her clitoris like this.
Uh,
And
did you taste your finger when you got done?
no,
Oh.
they asked me would I eat her, and I was like, no. But um,
Crazy.
I did allow him to penetrate me, and then she penetrated me with a dildo,
Oh.
and
What?
then
Oh.
yeah, and then they took me to completion. That's the closest I've gotten.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Wow.
Oh. Oh, so Ava, that girl, baby. But Ava, even then, like becoming who you are, wearing your finger waves and your weave now, and I know you probably look like a girl, uh, with all that going on. Like, who took you to your first gay club?
My best friend Kelvin,
Yeah.
and you probably met Kelvin. Um, because it was me, him, Kiki. We were like the Three Musketeers. And believe it or not, we literally met on the chat line way back when. We was like 12 years old. And we were friends for like 2 years over the phone before we ever met. And Kelvin he wasn't older than us, but he was just ahead of us. He
Mm.
had already been to the clubs. He knew Lamille, who became a drag mother, Mirage, and he was going to the clubs and all of that. He was ahead of his time, and they just tell me about the Marquette and the show director Sharita LaBelle, and she gonna snatch her wig off and throw it in the audience, and I was like, I want to see that, you know. So we went, and I was in awe. First of all, I walked into the building, and I saw this person, and I'm like, I know them. It was one of my friends from my apartment when we was growing up. She was a
Mhm.
full out drag queen, honey. Her name was Flame Iman, Miss
Okay.
Demetrius. And I was like, you walk around like a girl, confused. And it was just an eye opening experience. I went back to school. I had a friend, Marco Palmer. I was like, Marco, I went to a gay club. We gay. I'm not gay. I said, we gay, Marco. We gay. And he was gay. But he didn't want to accept it or
But
admit it.
going to the club still the deal for you.
Yeah.
made
And
you-
it told me who I was.
Which club was it?
The Marquette.
The Marquette. Okay, but it
But
wasn't
it
in the
was the
same spot
old
as it now,
Marquette.
right?
No.
Okay, okay. It's the old Marquette.
And
Wow.
I also went to Loretta's, which became 708 and the sequel and all that other stuff. I went there as well. That was, I think, when I first saw Raquel.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was her, the first person I saw do an actual show, or if it was somebody else, but they was doing Tony Braxton. And I'm standing there and I'm like, she sounds just like Tony Braxton.
You thought she was singing for real?
Yes, I thought she was singing for real.
Oh my goodness.
But that was, it was just an eye-opening thing. Even back then, I never saw myself doing shows.
Oh God.
But my best friend, she was fat and high yellow. I was
Mhm.
fat and dark skinned. So they used to tell her, "Oh, y'all should do a show. Y'all look like the Weather Girls." I didn't know who the fuck the Weather Girls was at all. I'm like, oh, okay. They used to tell us all the time, "Y'all like the Weather Girl. Y'all like the Weather Girl." I'm like, okay. And then we finally did do a talent show. We did the Weather Girls. It's Raining Men. The
Mhm.
people just went crazy. We won the talent show. They literally made us do It's Raining Men. We did that song everywhere they asked us to perform for about 2 years. We were tired
Wow.
of it.
Damn.
Tired.
Damn.
Yeah.
And
So
so
how
from
did
that
Tired.
point, you were hooked from that first experience. Did it bite you and you were like, okay, you know what, I can do this, and you got, or was it some time before you decided, you know what, I want to do this more?
It was when we decided to become individuals. I was like, oh, I want to do what Sharita. I want to snatch my wig off and roll around on the ground and kick my shoes off and all that. And she was just, light skinned pretty girl, want to wear a dress, and she was fat as hell, so she would wear her heels to the stage, take them off, and then go on stage. Well, why did you have them on? But we became two our own entities then, and she eventually stopped because she just wanted to be a girl. And it was when I first kind of found my niche. Jennifer Holidays and the Deidre Hicks and stuff like that. And I was like, this is me, you know,
Mhm.
and just went from there.
Wow.
So how did you
And so
choose
when
your
did you?
family?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
How did
Okay,
what?
definitely froze up. So how did
No,
you
no,
choose
no,
your
sure.
family? When did you become an Alexandria? Because I mean, around your time, I know it was like Dupree's and St. James and all of that was mostly in Atlanta, right? And how did you pick your family, the Alexandrias?
Baby, before I even went to the club that first time, Kelvin took me to Lamia house. I found you one. And I'm like, well, what the fuck's going on? He opened the door and looked out. They was like, that could be my daughter. And I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? I'm be his daughter. This is weird.
Hmm.
And we then went to the club and I seen him do the show. I was like, oh wow. And that's when I saw Martika and she had her best friend Nicolette and they looked like twins. And I was like, wow. Like it just went from there. I didn't choose them. They chose
They
me.
chose you.
Yeah, I didn't even understand it. They just took me.
Wow.
So when did you realize that you really had something special? When did you realize that you really had something to be successful in this art form?
Um,
Because I mean, you're absolutely amazing. I mean, so and where did all that come from? All that you put on the stage, where did all that come from?
well, I'll start with when did I realize I had something special? I'm going to say that first year at Black America. Um, that's when I first met Tajee. I was afraid of her because I heard stories about her and all of this. And of course, Ivy was the hot Atlanta big girl at that time.
Okay, shout out to Ivy White.
Yeah. And I looked up to Ivy, and I competed in the pageant. And when they called me for the top five, well, first of all, I always kind of was confident because
Mhm.
when they was calling the top five, I saw myself in there. So I'm like, oh, they're gonna say that person. Oh, they're gonna say that person. And then when they said Zakia Jamal, I said, I didn't count her. Who's not gonna make it? And when they called me, I was like, bitch, I made it. And we got to Q&A. I answered the question, which I still remember. The question was, if you were to win the pageant tonight, what would every gay publication, what would the headline be or something like that? And I just thought I was hot shit. Oh, every gay publication would say she came, she saw, she conquered, she wanted it, and she got it. And I'm backstage like, yes, ma'am, I turned it. And when I'm standing out here, Zakia, and she came there, she said, it would say extra, extra, read all about it. Newcomer comes from Richmond, Virginia, and sweeps the Black America pageantry system. And da 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 da. I said,
Well, she ate
who
that.
the fuck is that?
Yeah.
She whooped us, probably in interview and Q&A.
Yeah.
Mm.
Whether we saw her or not, because we didn't know her. Hell, we really didn't know each other or any of that.
That's it. That's it.
But at the end of that night, they said fourth runner up, Ivy White.
Oh.
I had won it. I said, I beat Ivy. I had won. And then they said second runner up, Tamara Chevalier. And I'm like, I'm standing next to her. I had watched her in the pageants before, and I just felt like I had arrived. And I won talent. So I was like, bitch, I'm it.
What you
And
do?
it just,
What you do for talent that year?
that's when I did the acting talent, which Tajee loved to say, they let you beat me eating chicken. Where I was eating the chicken in the beginning. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember. Was that your first pageant or your first national?
honestly, that was my third pageant ever. And it
Wow.
was my
Mm.
first national.
Wow. So had you won a pageant before you got to Black America, or that was,
I won a prelim.
or you won the
And that was
prelim? Okay, y'all did have prelims back then. Wow. Wow. But as you was growing the ranks up and becoming Ava, right? Um, you was a little mischievous too.
Mhm.
They say you had every kind of car they made, but you didn't put your name on neither one of them.
Did not.
You did not. So Ava, how did you get into that type of thing? Like who? Because I know, like, listen, trust me, coming out around that time, I don't like. I think we were around the same age, but it was so much stunting going on. It was so much check writing. It was so much shit. We were just getting by with shit because you could do it. The gays was very, very smart back then, and they used their smarts for what they wanted to use it for, right? Like,
Yeah.
who was you around and said, hey, girl, let's go get a car. Let's go do this. When did that lifestyle start?
And it went the opposite of that. They didn't
Oh,
come to
really?
me. I came to them. Now we're gonna go back a little bit. Now, because at that point, honestly, I was probably either reigning or probably not long had given up Black America. So I was
Okay.
probably like 25 then,
And you won Black American what year?
2002.
Okay. 2000.
So and then I started off as a thief. I was 10 years old. I remember stealing. It just was there.
8 years old.
Um, and it just graduated over time. Cause like I said, back on the stars of the century at the jungle, baby, I had bolts and bolts and bolts and bolts of fabric, rhinestone. I'm probably, and from way back then,
Uh,
I'm probably the reason Joanne's has went out of business.
Yes, God.
because I
Yes, God.
wore them
I
out.
was just I was just telling somebody the other day that the gays had put Hancock and Joanne straight out of business.
Yes. Like Shavonna came to my house back then, it was a wall, a long wall by my dining room, and it was stacked probably to my chest, standing up straight with bolts of fabric going down the whole row, like a fabric store. Then I had them big container things just full of rhinestones, and because I would go in the store and bitch, I'd be like, "That's mine." It was
45 is weird.
something in my head that just that's mine. Like I've told people, I'm gonna get back to the on
But wait a
track.
minute. Wait a minute. How was you getting that many bolts of fabric out the store at one time?
I would load up a buggy.
And just
I would
walk out?
literally, yes,
Store?
yes, I would get a buggy, and I would go up every aisle. Because if I'm still out of here, I need everything that I want. You know, I would go
Yeah.
up every aisle, and I would just put bolts in the fabric in the buggy. I
Uh-huh.
even got a system. They had the little Tupperware containers. I would open the Tupperware, and that's where I would put all the rhinestones. Because if I had to run, I'd just grab that and run. I'm not trying to hold all these rhinestones individually. Um, and I would just load the buggy up. It would be literally stuff falling off because it's so much. Because I need everything in here that I see that I want. I would go to the door, and it would be like a robot, and my head would be swiveling. I look over at the registers. Okay, when she rings up that lady, she gonna be looking down, and then that person they doing this, that, and the other, and I look around, and they had the automated door, so I would just stand there with the buggy behind something, and I wait till somebody come in, and when the door open, I grab the buggy and I start pushing. You hold your head up high and look forward, and you walk slow. Because a guilty person doesn't have a reason, an innocent person doesn't have a reason to look back over their shoulder, and they don't have a reason to walk fast.
Oh,
but did you ever get caught?
Only one time. And I'm walking to the car with my buggy, and I
Uh-huh.
just hear this lady, ma'am. I'm like, I'm just walking, ma'am. I said, she can't be talking to me. And I turned around. She said, we need that fabric. I said, I had to think about it. Because I done got out the store. This is my stuff legally in
Uh-huh.
my head.
Uh-huh.
All right. I was with one of my friends in their car because if I was in one of my cars, she was just gonna have to run behind me. But we was in his car, so I was like, if I put it in the car, they're gonna get his tag and this and the other.
Mhm.
So I just turned the buggy around and I pushed it at her. And then I
Mhm.
went and walking the other way. That's the only time I got caught because I felt like when I walked in the store, I was like a ghost. Don't speak to me.
but they could not
You
see
don't need
you.
to come in here. If they said hello, how you doing? I'ma leave because you don't need to know I came in here because I'm
Mm-hmm.
leaving out of here with all this stuff. And baby, I don't need you to be able to say she was here yesterday because I might come back tomorrow.
Got you.
But
Oh my goodness.
to get back on track, I've done
No, no,
all
no.
of this. I have all this stuff, and I'm not afraid to say names because he probably not even ashamed. Ecstasy. My child James,
Oh,
Ecstasy.
yes, God. Yes, shout out to
Trying
X.
at him and the Birmingham people.
Uh-huh.
They was doing the cars. And I used to be like, how do y'all keep driving around in these cars and they're not yours? Because he had friends that be driving a car for years. I'm like, how do he still have that car? I was like, I want a car. He was like, I take you to get one. You got to get it yourself. I'm like, what? What do I got to do? Baby went to the car lot and I done told him, man, oh, I have 1,600 to put down. Oh, I'm just looking for something, all of this. And the man, I was looking at that car over there. Baby, he pulled the keys out. It was three keys on the chain. He handed them to me. He went back in the building and closed the door.
Mm.
I said, he gave me all the keys. What do I do? He said, let's go. I was like, what? Baby got in the car, crunk it up, and it was on one of them ramps where they backing up the ramp like this.
Uh-huh.
And I pulled it off the ramp, got to the exit, I looked right, looked left, baby, that light turned green, punched it. And it was like an adrenaline rush.
Uh-huh.
I was like, this why he do this shit, because it's like doing drugs.
Uh-huh.
Because he, you know him, he went through a lot of cars himself,
Oh
but
yeah,
he was
nice.
flashy. They wanted the Lexus and the Porsche and the this and the, I wanted a regular car that I could blend in with everybody else. I thought differently from them, you know. And I don't know what it was that they did to keep their cars, but again, I thought differently. I lived on Memorial Drive, literally walking distance from the DeKalb County Jail, driving these stolen cars, you know, confident. Because I would pull up beside the police and roll down the window. Hi, officer, how are you today?
Well, how did
You know,
you how did you register the car? What was that? Oh, you had drive out.
I know that's why I was going to get to. See, they would do the drive-out tags and stuff. I thought different. I said, the train station right there. I said, I'm going to go to the train station. I'm going to find, let's say I had a silver Impala. I said, I'm going to find a silver Impala. I'm going to take their tag and put it on my car. Now, nobody really don't know their tag for real. I'm going to just take somebody else's tag and put on their car. I'm going to drive around with this tag for about a month. Then I'm going to just find another silver Impala. That's what I used to do.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Wow. Ava, you were never scared. You never like, what did the confidence come from to drive around your car? Because y'all get away with it, make you feel like it's yours, right? Like they ain't gonna do that. It's my car. You parking that thing, getting it washed, you know, not really let nobody drive it, you know. How many cars would you say you got in all?
That's it. That I don't, because it's like, well, number one, I'm gonna add this. My license were all this time. My license was suspended.
Get the fuck out.
So, anytime I got pulled over, regardless what it was for, instantly I'm going to jail for suspended license.
Right.
But see, but because the tag is registered to a car that is described to be this car, they never question the ar. Maybe once it's in the impound and all of that, maybe they figure it out. I'm out of jail and gone. But whenever they take the car, I can't get it back. I can't prove that that's mine to get it out of the impound. So I went through a lot of cars.
What was the moment that made you stop? What was the moment that or did you ever get caught?
Yeah, that's what sent me to prison.
Okay.
Like the moment that made me stop was, you know what? When I actually got, because I had one time where I did a pageant in Montgomery, and I had won. Tanisha got first. And they say Tanisha sent the police after you in that car. You know, I don't know. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But I got home that day. I was tired. I left everything in the car, crown, gowns, everything. And that next morning, I'm woken up. Knock. I'm like, who is it? This man. I open the door. He was like, give me the keys to the car. I'm like, what car? What are you talking about? I found your mail in the car. This is your address. And I'm like, bitch, what is going on? Now, mind you, my dog had run out the door. He got the front door to the car open. This bitch jumped right in the car. I'm like, you don't know that car. Get out of there. Girl. But they had, my mail was in the car. So that's how they knew the car was mine. And they took it. And there should have been a wake-up call. It wasn't, you know. I went from there. I continued to do it because I was like, honey, I've never gotten in trouble. I have literally it was twice. I was literally driving the car and the police came and pulled me over One time, it was when Terry Williams won Sweetheart. I was on my way to Sweetheart.
To
And the
compete.
police, huh?
To compete.
Yes.
Okay.
They got behind me, and we was at the red light, and no lights came on. The light turned green. They stayed there. I left. I was, oh, okay, good. Baby, I went to the gas station. I'm in the gas station paying for gas and chips, and I see about 3 police cars pull up. I'm like, oh, what's okay? So confident. I come outside. So I said, ma'am, is this your truck? I'm driving it. Is there a problem? You know, there's like, oh, the tag on this truck is registered to a red pickup truck. Now, mind you, it's a white Nissan Armada.
How you slip like that?
No, it was one of James' cars. He was in
Oh,
jail at the time. And I was like, I'm gonna drive the truck down to Florida, wherever the petrol was. I said, why would he put a tag like that on it? See, I don't do stupid stuff like that.
uh-huh.
But I didn't know. So, baby, they have took me in. Babe, I'm in there with the detectives. I'm a natural born actress.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
sitting there. I have cried and all types of stuff. Oh, I can't believe it. I was on my way to do a pageant in Florida. I was going to win $1,000. You know, the man said, for $1,000, I'll shave my eyebrows off. You know, all of this, baby. They said, well, where'd you get the car? I said, oh, I work at a club on Beaufort Highway called the Chaparral, and I'm one of the girls there. And this guy, he told me, why would you rent a car? You can drive my truck. And I was like, really? And he brought the truck to me. I said, I can't believe this happened. I'm so happy it didn't happen in Florida. I don't know what I would do. Baby, they said, what is his name? I made up a name, a description, a phone number, everything. Gave it to him. That man came there. He said, I got good news and bad news. Which one you want first? I said, the good news. He said, the good news, you're free to go. The bad news, you got to walk. I walked my ass out of there into my
Where
house.
was your stuff? Still in the truck?
Yeah, anything inside of a stolen car when they apprehend you is considered to be property of the car.
And
Oh,
listen, this your second time having that happen because the first time that you had all your crowns and shit in the car, right?
Yeah. I bet I done
Oh,
had plenty of stuff taken. Gowns, crowns, I done lost about 5 makeup kits. And back in those days was when you
uh-huh.
could order makeup and stuff online with a credit card with no CVV.
Yes.
I had every Mac caboodle filled with all Mac, their perfumes, everything. Lost them about 4 times. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
You should have just started ordering extras because you already know you was gonna get down with the boogie. So when did you get caught and go to jail?
And it was one of those, it wasn't even none of my business, but my child came over. We was at Nicole house after the show one Monday, and he was like, oh, baby, I got this BMW and these keys and da-da-da, who want it? And I remember, y'all know if you remember Jasmine Nicole, he was trying to
I
get
do
her to
remember.
get it. And she was like, honey, I don't know, ma'am. I was like, oh, baby, I'll take it. I'll have 3 cars outside my apartment. You know that I'm thinking.
Oh, you was turning it.
Baby, I done went up there. Don't even know what the car looked like or nothing. I done picked up Tazaria, made her ride with me. She about got the flu, didn't want to go. I guilt tripped her into going. We was in Clayton County. We pull up to the car lot. I get out of the car and I'm pressing the button to see where it is. And as I'm doing this, walking up the grass into the car lot in the middle of the night, police came around the corner.
Oh my goodness.
I politely walked back to the car. Mastermind, which they did call me that in the court. Went into work. I said, I got in the car. I said, I was getting out of the car to go pee. We're lost. We came to find our friend whose car broke down. I borrowed this car from somebody in my apartment complex. Stick with the story. Everything's going to be okay. You know. Baby, that officer came and told him the story. He's like, well, I just have the drive out tag. I just have to run the, VIN number and make sure everything's okay. Baby, he ran the VIN number. He said his car came back stolen. I was like, what? That's not possible. I got it from a guy in my apartment. I can't believe this, going with the flow. He said,
Your
well, I
ex
just have to
was
run your
in.
name. He came back from running the names. He said, you're a professional. You have a warrant for this same thing in Douglas County. And I was like,
Mm.
what? I've never even been to Douglas County, sir. Baby, one of the cars. And matter of fact, the car when the man came to my house,
Uh-huh.
they had put a warrant out for me. The warrant had been out for probably a year. I never knew.
Oh wow.
And
Hey,
that's when they took me to jail. And I went to court for there in Douglas County because they charged me with the car that I was in.
okay.
Then my mama bonded me out of there, which I stayed there probably 30 days. Bonded me out of there. They took me to Douglas County. Get to Douglas County, which I ended up there probably about 20 days. My aunt put her house up to get me out of
Oh
there.
wow.
But we're gonna rewind back. I go to the first arraignment that morning, and I'm standing there. I'm like, Your Honor, I don't even know why I'm here. I've never been arrested in Douglas County. I don't know why I would have a warrant. This man came up behind me. He said, Your Honor, he goes by the name Ava Chanel. He's the ringleader of a group of drag queens that go around the city stealing cars. I said,
So the judge thought you was a woman.
I don't know what she could have thought. Yeah, I came there with the guys.
Oh,
But
Shavonna talking about some telling what side you went on. Shut up, Shavonna.
out again. That's the whole what girl decide that it don't matter what you look like, bitch. They're gonna tell you to show them what you got.
Okay.
But that when that man said that, and I turned and looked at that man, he said, "Don't look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about." He was like, Your Honor, we've confiscated cars with mail and pageant crowns in it, and this and the other. And my mouth just like it did like a cartoon and dropped to the
Uh-huh.
floor. I was like, bitch. But when he called me the mastermind and the kingpin or whatever the fuck, I was like, she was like, Do you have anything else to say? I said, No, no, ma'am. He said it all. Baby, devastated. Now that when I got out of jail from that, because I stayed like 2.5 months. Because when I bonded out of there, I had to go to another jail because I was already on probation in
Okay.
Oconee County, which is Athens, Georgia.
Okay.
When I got out from there, that is the Monday that I did the Fergalicious.
Oh wow.
That really?
Mhm.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
So I remember in the beginning, it said, free again. And it went into conceited, and I came out with all them keys on the ring. I just got out of there.
You
Whoa.
were so
And,
amazing.
and it was so crazy because I was going through that. And of course, going back and forth to the court. First of all, when I was in Douglas County Jail, the public defender came to see me. She was this, I wish I remember her name. Ugh, she was a bitch. She came and she's talking to me so nonchalant. This how she did. I'm sitting there nervous, shaking. She came in, she okay, it looks like they're offering you 10 to 4. How do you feel about that? And I'm like, I said, you said what now? They're offering you 10 to 4. How do you feel about that? I said, I don't like that. I said, well, what is the most that I would do? 4?
This is years and not months, right?
Yes. No, as she said, the most 10 years. I was like, well, what is the minimum? There is no minimum. I said, I don't like that. She went, all right, and she went on. I was like, oh, this bitch doesn't care. So when I had got out, bitch, I went on a search and got me a lawyer. It was a Jewish man. And which it ended up, because Douglasville don't like us. Not even us. They don't like us. Because first of all, when I was there, they treated me like I was a fucking iguana that spoke English. They didn't know what the fuck to do. But he ended up getting me a plea deal because they said, oh, they have other cars in DeKalb County and here. And if you accept a plea deal, they won't bring any of that up in court. And I'm like, oh my God. So the least he could do was 10, do 3.
Mm.
And they gave me 1 month with 30 days to handle all of my affairs and turn myself
Mhm.
in.
Wow. So was this your first time being locked up?
In prison. I think
Yeah.
I've been in jail plenty of times for driving on suspended license.
Oh yeah. But for your prison stay, can you tell us how that was for you?
I when I went into it, real talk, I said this is an adventure.
Mm.
I said I would never thought I would go to prison, but I'm going to look at this like an adventure. It's going to be fun. So, of course, in the jail, because I have been there for those 20 days, when I first got arrested, I already knew what I need to do to not be separated like they had me. When I
Okay.
did my farewell show, immediately left the show, got my hair braided to the back, took them
Mhm.
nails off, all of that. I had been stopped cutting my eyebrows because I was like, they're not finna put me in separation. I refuse. Get
Okay.
there, they put me in not population, but it was an open dorm, like a big, let's say, gym. With one side of the gym is bunk beds stacked 3 high. The other side was like the tables, the TV, the bathrooms, and all that. So that was fine to me, as long as I went in the room by myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when I came in, I had first of all, those 30 days that they gave me, stopped paying. I didn't pay no bills. I did shows and all that. I gave all the money to my mama. I said, put this on my books whenever I need some money on my books. So I got there, I ordered up all my stuff, and I really didn't eat snacks and all that stuff, but I wanted to have it. So you learn the way of the land. They call people the store people. I was the store lady.
Mhm.
So when nobody ain't got no food or no chips or drinks or whatever, they come to you, oh, do you have any chips? Now, usually it's if I give you this one bag of chips, you give me 2 bags of chips back when you get your stuff. But
Mm.
because I was a bitch, and I was like, I'm the only one in here that has anything because I don't eat this stuff anyway. I said,
Mhm.
oh, honey, if I give you this one bag of chips, I'm going to need 2. You're going to give me 2 back plus the one. So I'm going to need 3. What? Nobody else do that? Okay, well, go get it from someone else. Oh, they don't have it? Okay, well, I'm going to need 3. And
Damn.
that's how it was. And they was afraid of me.
You was very
I don't know
malleable.
why. I made friends with what they called the house man, and they was really afraid of him. So I guess because we was friends, he called me his sister and all of that. And baby, they would bring me that stuff, some white men and everything. Do you have that? They would bring it to me. And when my time to go to my prison came, I gave all the stuff to them. I called her my daughter. I said, you're the store lady now. I said, you don't let them steal from you and you don't let them take advantage of you, which they did. But that's not
So
here
she
nor
got
there.
a promotion because you was leaving.
Yeah, because you can't take none of that stuff with you. When
So
you leave,
why did you have to transfer?
no, because that was the jail
Oh,
where they
okay.
sentence you. Now, once you get your time, they send you to the prison.
Okay.
So I gave her all that stuff and I taught her, don't let them run over you, blah, 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 which they did. But I left there when I got to the prison. Oh, first on the prison bus.
Mhm.
They handcuff you and hook your feet to everybody else. It was like chain gang. They would call it chain gang because you're like a long chain of people, like a centipede. And we riding on the bus, and I'm really like, oh my God, I'm going to prison. You know, we get there, they line us up, everybody stripped down and put everything in the garbage bag. And I'm like, what? And literally, we were in like 4 lines of people and they stripped butt naked. So, me, I'm the last one to get undressed, bitch. I steps out of line, I'm looking down the row. looking at people like, you know. But I get undressed and I stand there like this. Baby, they came by and they sprayed some mess on you, talking about for crabs and give you the shampoo and a soap. And baby, they said shower. Now I'm looking and it's four shower heads. And I'm the first person in line. I'm like, hmm. So everybody in line. So they made us all go four at a time. And everybody else standing in line looking at you. And I'm like, bitch. So I'm over in the corner and I'm just like, I cannot believe this. Oh my God. Ooh, I dropped the soap.
No, you did not.
I
You
said,
did
now
not.
why would something like this
You
happen?
dropped
This
the soap
being a
on
movie.
purpose. You did that on purpose.
I swear I didn't. I had to turn my back to the wall and swoop down and pick it up. I was like, oh my God, that was so embarrassing. How could something like that happen?
And
I
you
said,
dropped it
bitch, they're
again?
gonna think I did. I dropped it again. I was like, they're gonna think I did this shit on purpose.
And I really believe you did.
I promise you I didn't. Because I didn't want to
Now
bend over in
you
front of them. I was so, I was still fresh.
Okay.
Because now once you done been there a while, I get to that. But baby, then you get out the shower, they clip your fingernails down to damn near to the meat and all of this. Baby, I had my hair in two ponytails, bitch, because I thought I was hot, you know. Baby, the man was like, oh, you can give me those ponytail holders. You won't need those anymore. And I'm like, whatever. Baby, and I'm watching the boys get in the little barber chair. And baby, it was my turn. And when I say they don't give you a haircut, they cut your hair. The difference.
mm.
A
That
shade
man
difference.
got there and he said, "Mm-mm." Just every which way until I was bald head. And
Mm.
I just went in slow motion like this.
This was in Douglasville,
No, this is when I got to the prison,
the
Jackson
prison.
State
They did a
Prison.
girlfriend of mine like that too. They shaved all her hair off.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I went in slow motion. I was like, I'm bald headed. I couldn't believe it. Um, you go from there, then they give you your uniform and all of that, your little combat boots and all this foolishness, and your rolled up bed thing with the mattress, the comforter, and cup, and your little sip orange spoon and all of that. Baby, they start giving people armbands. Called you by name. I see the blue armbands and the green and the red. I'm guessing different security levels. So then when they called me up, mine was white. Uh, Ain't nobody else got no white one. That must be for the girls. You know what I'm thinking? Oh, this is for the girls. I'm going with the
Mm-hmm.
girls. So I'm like, baby, we walking. And they go to this section. People go over there. They go to this section. Open the door. People go over there. I'm the last one by myself. I'm like, sir, am I the only person gonna be here? He's like, oh no, there's others. I was like, oh yes, ma'am, I'm going with the girls. Baby, they took my motherfucking ass to the hole. Bitch, I
No.
was devastated. It had bars like you see in TV, bitch. And I'm walking past all the other people's cell going down to mine, and I'm looking at them, and they're looking at me. And I'm like, bitch, they closed the door. The man next to me, he had one arm and he talking to me, and I'm like, where's this? He's like, this the hole. I'm like, why they put me in here? Because you got them things on your chest. I said, what? Yeah, you got them things on your chest. And I'm like, well, how do I get out of here? You're going to have to cut them off. I said, you a lie. You know, baby, I sat there depressed for a minute. And it took probably a few days for my money to transfer from the jail to the prison.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as the money got there, immediately when the store came, pad, a pen, then whatever else. Back when that motherfucking shit came, I wrote the nastiest letter to the warden. I said, how dare you lock me up in your facility with people who've broken the rules and I just got here and you're discriminating against me, saying that I have breasts. I'm an overweight male with a fleshy chest. And I said what I had to say to get out the hole, bitch.
And how long
2
before they
days.
took that hole?
2 days.
2 days.
And they got you out?
I would
Yeah.
love to see that letter.
Baby, I had
Oh,
said I'll be making a copy of this letter and sending it to my attorney. And if he doesn't hear from you within such and such days, you'll have a lawsuit. And all. Baby, I know what to say to get the job done.
Oh yeah, you
no,
have.
were they that big? Were they that big?
Uh, Not quite this size, but they were
Okay.
noticeable.
What
But
did
you
And
you?
made it work for you. Oh my God, that is so brilliant.
It is. Where did this survivor instinct come from you? Where do you get that from? Because a lot of people don't know how to go through life and finagle their way through life. Somebody else probably was just stayed in that hole as long as they let them stay in there. Like, where do you get your survivor instincts from?
I don't know. I tell people that some people may say this, but sometimes you feel it in real life. People talk about reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here multiple times, honey.
You think you be okay?
And you may not remember who you were or what
Okay.
you
Yeah.
did, but there are certain things that are there that just are unlocked, maybe through trauma or certain situations in life that show you who you are.
Yeah.
Like even with sewing, I never was formally taught how to sew. It was just something I knew how to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so did you what about men in there? Did you find your husband in there? Because I know some men said that's mine's right there. So tell us about how you got down with the men in that prison.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry with one. They took me out of the hole. They took me to population. And going in there, when I first walked through the door, because everybody was going to lunch and stuff. I'm used to being locked up, they're walking freely. So I'm on the wrong side of the hallway and all these people laughing at me, pointing, because I don't know. I've never walked the hallway. I was locked up.
Mhm.
So I walked into the dorm and the people look, she's the queen. And I'm afraid, like, what the fuck are they talking about? I guess they probably never seen like a girl
Yeah.
for real. Like there were girls there, they wasn't girls. But when I came in there, they was bum rushing me because I had all my store items and stuff. And they didn't know that they had just got in trouble. So everything that they ordered on the store that day, nobody got to get it because they got in trouble. So
Mhm.
nobody there had any store items. And I'm coming in with a bag like Santa Claus. She's the queen. All of this. I'm like, oh my God. They followed me to the room that I was going to. I go in the room, all the kids, they come into the room. I recognize some of them from the club. And I'm like, my bunkmate, he was on the bottom bunk. I'm like, oh, honey, I can't climb up to that top bunk. And he's like, oh, you got to pay me this much food. Baby, I dug it up. Here, baby, because I'm not climbing up there. I went through that, talking to the girls and stuff. I find out, because it's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are shower day.
Okay.
So the dormitory has 250 people.
Mm.
I don't know how many cells it is, but on one side it's 125 people, and on this side it's 125 people. Now on the shower day, each side goes to the shower as a whole. So all these 125 get out, line up. It's 6 shower heads on this side of the wall and 6 over here.
Mhm.
And the space between them is like
Siobhan is so crazy.
the size of the stage at Best Friends. Like put the showers on one end, showers on the other end, and then it's an opening through the middle. Baby, the girls are like, oh, we go last and we just watch everybody. And I'm like, okay, you know. So we just watching them. Some of them go in there, they shower with their boxers on. Some of them get butt naked. Some of them don't look at me, faggots, and all this. Some of them give you a show. It was just all type of stuff. So me
Mhm.
being one of the girls,
Mhm.
bitch, as they getting closer to us to go, I said, I said, I'm finna turn it, bitch. So we had jumpsuits, not pants and box pants and top, but it was like
Mhm.
a whole jumpsuit you put on, button down the front.
Mhm.
So I go to my cell, baby. I have stripped butt naked, and I, just to be very candid, babe, I pinched that head and I snatched her back so far and tucked her up my butt crack. Baby, I put my outfit on and I had it tied right here like a tube top. And I stood in that line with my rag and my soaps and my stuff. And I was like, wait till it's my turn, bitch. We got out there, I unbuttoned and dropped it down. And they're like, you have a real pussy. I said, yes, I do. And leave me alone. And mind you, because I said it's 6 shower heads on this side and 6 over here. So I'm at my shower with the shower head behind me because I'm looking at the 6 people over there and I'm opening my legs and rubbing the soap all through there so they can see, yes, I have a cooter cat, you know? And they really thought I had one. And that was just the craziest thing to me. Even the officer, you're not supposed to be over here. You lucky I don't tell on you. I'm like, leave me alone. But even going to, like you said, the guys, because I had the mindset, I was like, I know that they think you their property and this and the other, and they'll kill you if you talk to another man. So I was like, I don't want a boyfriend. I'm just keep it real. I said, it's too many flavors in here for me to just choose one. I'll have friends, and when I'm finished, I'll have a boyfriend. That's how I felt. And um the girls had introduced me to this little short guy. I guess whoever he was messing with, she got sent to another prison or whatever. And so they introduced him to me. Obviously, she was a slut. And
Mm-hmm.
she was down for the get down. So when he met me, I'm like, oh, you're cute or whatever. Then he showed me his thing and all that. I'm like, oh, it's cute. And I touched it. Baby, days go by, we would play cards and stuff. He's like, I'm tired of this friend shit. When we gonna do it? Get to the good stuff. I'm like, excuse me? I said, sweetheart,
Oh my
I'm not moving fast enough for you. You're more than welcome to find someone else. Baby, he did not like that. Because I had other guys that was my friend. They would give me candy bars and all of this and write me
Ava,
letters.
when did you become a fucking comedian? You have always been like the funniest person I have ever met in my goddamn life. Like I'm over here fucking crying. When did you know you have a natural knack to make people laugh? Where did that come from?
I did it.
You just honestly just being yourself.
Yes.
So let's fast forward. Did you do the entire 3 years in jail?
No, I actually ended up doing 18 months.
Okay.
Oh.
I got out on parole. I had to finish the 3 years on parole. And then I finished the 10 years on probation.
Mm, okay. Okay. And um everybody loved Ava, right? Ava, like I'm telling you, Ava, like you to me, and I probably never told you this because I know for a long time you feel like I didn't like you, but it was never that. You know what I'm saying? And I always respect you because you knew how to hold your own. When I was reading, you were reading my ass right back. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing, right? So if I never apologize for that moment, I really don't believe in apologies. Like I believe in changed behavior. I hope that I act different around you now. But I want to formally apologize for the things that transpired when we was having our spats and stuff because it went too far and it was about nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I always knew that you was an amazing entertainer. I always knew that you was one of the bad girls because, like I said, you didn't just compete against plus girls. You competed against small girls too, and you whooped their ass. My mama being one of them, you know. And I was always feel like you was picking with me, like you come and say, "Ow, I just won. I just beat Cassadine. And she got first to me, you know." And y'all,
And I
and
can
you already knew. She already knew I was a fool about this lady, right? So I said she won't. But knowing you now is different because I know you just funny and you got all us got out of the messiness and quirkiness about ourselves, right? And you like, ow, Cassie, I thought she was gonna beat me. I beat her, you know, stuff like that. You would rub. And I remember one day we was over Brendan McDaniel house, Bree, and we was watching Universe. Y'all all did it that year, and it's just like everybody went down the runway. When Tanisha came, you said, "Oh, I didn't like that gown. That gown." So you do the things to push my goddamn buttons, right? So then we would go, I make all the point. But I do apologize for the things that I said. I know some of the things I can say. Sometimes I go way too far. It could be hurtful. You know what I'm saying? But I never apologize. I've always respect you. I always had a great deal of respect for you. I always knew you was a bad goddamn bitch. You know, but there
yeah,
was still a part of your life that happened that knocked all us, that gobsmacked all us and knocked us all back. And we're gonna flip the script a little bit. There was a time where the Ava that we had come to know had vanished somewhere. This other person showed up. Do you mind talking about that moment for us? Because like there used to be this video when social media first started. There was this video of you like chasing people. Like it felt like you was chasing them, but I don't know what's wrong. We in the community because we didn't know what was going on. We had wrote it off like Ava done lost her mind. Ava done clicked. You know. Do you mind telling us that story of what happened around that time?
I sure don't mind. And you know what? I never knew that that video went viral and all of that kind of stuff. And I didn't know that that narrative really went around as much as it did until when I first met Denasia. And her and Deasia came to my house. She wasn't transitioned or anything at that point. And we went to Longhorns. And we was sitting there eating, and somebody called her, and she said, "Oh, I'm sitting here with Ava. She's not crazy." And I'm like, "What the fuck is she talking about?"
Mm.
But um, that time period. Well, first of all, that video.
Mhm.
At that time, that I had not too long went natural and cut all my relaxed hair off. So I wore my hair in an afro. It wasn't even pulled in a ball like this. It was just an afro.
Mhm.
So to some people, that's weird. Um, and I did lose a good bit of weight. I had changed my diet. Um, and I called myself being on a holistic journey.
Okay.
mhm.
So each morning I would get up, and I was a full-time seamstress, and so I didn't have to leave my house unless I need to go to the store or anything like that. So if I didn't want to comb my hair or this and that, I didn't because I was at home.
Mhm.
So I would go on the front porch, and I would do what I thought was yoga. So I'm stretching or whatever, call myself just trying to be,
Not what you thought was yours.
So I seen the maintenance guy one day, and I looked, bitch, is he recording me? He was recording me, and he was on the little go-kart thing. And I like, why the fuck is he recording? Not knowing they had probably been watching me. Cause I have to
Mhm.
walk around the parking lot barefoot and all kind of stuff. So to people that was weird, talking to myself or whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna make him stop recording me. So I started walking at him like, "Ugh."
Girl,
And
like a zombie
it was
type
like he
thing.
got excited. He was like, so
Yes.
I was like, I'm gonna turn into a dragon. I was like, I started running at him. But
Oh,
reality,
Okay.
because I had been on my whole holistic journey and my spiritual journey, I'm just keep it real. I was researching, ancient history, Egypt, all these places. I used to watch this show called Ancient Aliens, which all my grandkids were like, "Stop watching this alien shit, you're crazy." And in what, unbeknownst to them, I wasn't watching the show from the alien aspect of it, because whether we realize it or not, anything that is unexplainable to them
Mm-hmm.
that pertains to us,
Yeah.
they're going to find another reason, a way to explain it without saying it was us.
Right.
mm-hmm.
So they would say aliens helped or whatever. But watching the show, I'm seeing these ancient locations that I will probably never visit in life, that I
Mm-hmm.
never even knew existed. And I'm just learning about these places. That's why I'm watching the show. And when
Mm-hmm.
I learn about these places, I'll research them and what um, people were there and all this kind of stuff. And I just started listening to harmony, the harmonic vibrations, to heal the body and all this type of stuff. I was doing all this stuff. And it was like I connected with something.
Okay.
And because I was on a spiritual journey, I attributed that I had reached God.
Mm.
But I, I did reach something. I don't know what it was.
So in reaching something though, this entity that you reach, what did that feel like?
I thought in that moment I was the chosen one.
Mm.
Oh.
I was like, oh, I'm the going to be the reincarnation of what is to be considered Jesus.
Mm.
So some of the things that, because it's a real entity, whom or whatever the fuck it was, they would tell me stuff to do. And like
Mm-hmm.
Christian tell this story, she said, I sat there and talked to you and you spun around in that chair 8 million times. And I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? And in my head, I'm like, she doesn't even realize while I'm spinning around in this chair. And it would just be things that it would have me to do, even not caring about how I look. Because it was like, oh, when they realize, they'll understand. So I didn't care
So were you
that I was
praying to a different type of spirit though? Was you praying to something?
no, not praying. It was just,
Just something you let something in.
I did. Inadvertently. Like I even remember talking to Taji, because it was certain things that would take
Mm-hmm.
place with my body that I didn't make happen, that made me know this is real. And I would try to show her, I gotta look, watch me, watch this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what she was thinking in that moment, but she would appease me. And I even remember one time it was like I would sit there and I would close my eyes and it was like my body went into a auto mode
Mm-hmm.
where I felt my body go into this locked position. My mouth did some weird shit and I left my body. I was somewhere floating away and I heard my grandchild just laughing because he watched some show and it brought me back to me and I opened my eyes and I was like, bitch, what just happened? And you can't explain stuff like this to people because people don't believe things like this are possible.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
in doing research and stuff, it was astral projection. I literally left my body and I don't know where I was going. I don't
Mm-hmm.
even know if I would have been able to come back because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just happened to tap into something that I believe we all as people are able to do, but because
Yeah.
we live in the society that we do that teaches us this is how things go and that's weird, we would never try to figure it out. Or if we
Right.
tapped into it, we wouldn't know how to control it because we don't know what the fuck it is. And I
Mm.
think that is what happened. It it led me me to seem crazy to my friends because I wholeheartedly knew that what I was experiencing was real and I believed it and I didn't care what they thought about it. But I had to say to myself, okay, do you want to be looked at this way and maybe nothing ever happens?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to get back to being who you are and whatever happens, just happens? And I just had to call myself, forget about it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I opened my third eye. I could see and experience things that other people around me probably could not or did not experience. And I'm sure there are other people throughout the world who've experienced these things, but I had no earthly clue what I was doing, how it happened, or any of that. And it led me to a sense of craziness. Now,
So
add
when you
on
were
to that,
oh, go ahead, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, add on to that, maybe 'cause that was in 2015 when that incident happened with the video. Now, when I caught myself trying to go back to being normal, I met this guy online with his hotel and he rolled this blunt. And I think he put something in it. I'm going to just say now, being around people and seeing stuff, I think he put Tina in it.
Okay.
And I
Mm-hmm.
smoked it. And it
Mm-hmm.
led me on a whole different journey to where, bitch, I'm sitting in my living room and I get a knock on my door. It's the man from the leasing office with my mother, bitch. That means they went on my lease and found the emergency contact and brought them to my house because I have clicked
Mm-hmm.
out. Literally took me outside, put me in an ambulance that was there waiting. They took me to Atlanta Medical, and I was on the crazy floor for 3 days. And it was from that moment my mama told me to stop smoking weed. I was like, oh, I have my own weed guy. Da, da, da. You don't know what people put in that shit. Da, 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 da. So I stopped smoking weed. I don't do anything. I did edible. And when I did it edible, it was like it woke all that stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was completely afraid. Like I'm afraid to do any of that now because I want to just be normal.
Yeah. So let me ask you, when that guy laced that blunt, did you still have a taste for more Tina slash meth, or that was the only time you ever done it, and it made you go to the hospital?
That was the only time.
Wow. Okay.
Like,
Wow.
I honestly don't know what it was. I'm just say that's what it was because I can imagine something that would just take you completely out of your mind.
Hmm.
Other than that, because I've experienced people that I personally know who've done it, and how they acted is probably how I was acting.
And this state that you was in, how long did you experience that?
Mm, I know at least a few days, but it was probably weeks. Like I remember, what's his name? Wait a minute. Trail or whatever, the one that married the boy from DC, Papa, the
Yeah,
dark
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I remember, see, he was doing closet ball back then, and he came to my
Hmm.
house for me to sew something for him. And baby, and he could probably tell the story better than me, baby. I don't know what we was talking about. I went to pulling out IDs and cards and just I don't know what the fuck I was saying to him. He left his fabric and never came back to my house.
Oh wow.
I don't know what the fuck
He
I
said,
had said or did.
he said, you can have this shit, baby.
He was
You
out of
can have
there.
it. Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah, I just had to take control of I had to make a choice.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the chosen one or do you just want to be Ava? I just let me be Ava.
It was too
Then
much work to being the chosen one, honey.
it can be somebody else because I don't know what the fuck going on.
So when you were the chosen one, you said that this entity was talking to you and telling you stuff. What was it? What did it tell you that you had a mission, or what was it telling you your purpose was to do in this realm?
It didn't give me a purpose. It just
I'm so sick of Shabana.
what that bitch talking about? Um, like Shavana came around in her
She,
Christian, Taji,
she
all of
said,
that.
tell her about the Rose Room. You had to book it at the Rose Room.
Well, that wasn't nothing crazy. When I went to the
Oh,
Rose Room, but see, that was even again. Was that after or before that? Oh, that was before that, actually. But I went to the
Mhm.
Rose Room. I hadn't been doing shows or anything at that time. Collectors brought me there to sew for her, but she got me the booking for the weekend, as an incentive. And so I'm more concentrated. I'm like, I don't do shows right now for real. I have to be sickening. I have to be ready when they call my name and this, that, and the other. And that's what I was concentrating on. Not knowing that they bring you there for the camaraderie in the dressing room. They don't care about the show for real.
yeah.
I'm quiet to myself. I gotta be ready. I gotta look good. And they just didn't like me.
Okay.
And Chevette didn't
Okay.
tell me till that Sunday. She was like, girl, you just went in yourself. You weren't funny and this, that, and the other. Girl, they said, I thought you said she was funny. And this. I said, well, bitch, why you didn't tell me that what I'm supposed to do? Bitch, I'm trying to make sure I'm together.
I know that's right.
Mm,
No,
You
mm.
that's
know?
right.
But
You
yeah.
have you have a lot of
So
kids and
you get
grandbabies
on
that
the
love
other
you.
side. Oh, sorry. So you get on the other side, and so now you say, okay, I just want to be Ava. So then, what path are you on at this point? What's going on, and what is your thought process?
Yeah. How do you get back to Ava?
Um, I just do me. I'm like no
Mhm.
shade because I still watch stuff online, and I see there's so many people who are quote unquote awakened, and a lot of the stuff that they talk about in their videos are things that I talked about, are things that I've experienced, and I've learned that when you are awakened, so to speak. When you put on
Mhm.
the shades that allow you to look at the world through a different aspect, you
Mhm.
can't make other people put on those shades. And that's
Mm,
where a lot of us who call ourselves on a different level or wavelength, we think just you're supposed to go and wake up other people, but you can't. They have to want to wake up. And that was probably what made me seem crazy to my friends because I wanted them to partake on some of the things that I was learning. This before the crazy part, you know. It was the accepting that they don't want to know is what led me to be solo, which kind of led to the crazy. And
Mhm.
um as far as now, I still watch some of the videos and I say, well, the things that I was thinking or saying or believing, if they come to light, they come to light. I don't have to be a part of that movement until it is an actual movement. Because I don't
Yeah.
want to be alone. I don't want to be the ringleader. I don't want to be the leader, the head, or none of that. Because as we see a lot of times with us, the leader, like let's say in Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, the people that want to stand up and speak for everybody, they usually get shot down.
they do.
Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
want to get shot down.
Mm,
You know, it's
mm,
really interesting though, Ava, to hear this story because somebody that I have a lot of love for, she kind of started. She said some of the same things, Lauren Hill, and everybody started calling her crazy and nuts. And she would say, I can't move until the spirit tells me to move. And and she started looking really deep into the movement, the world, and how people operated. And people called her crazy too. What were some of the things that during this period What were some of the things that you were more aware of than you had ever been in your life before? What were some of those things that you were like, this look to
Um,
everybody, this is normal, but because she would always say things like there was just so much underlying deception, and everybody was walking around deceived about what
yeah.
the world was, but it's really something else. But it's these entities that's almost brainwashing us into following these things. What were some of the things that you were awakened about that you did not
Um,
realize before?
how connected we are to nature
Mhm.
and how separated we are because we follow the norms of this civilization. Like how people talk about, oh, go outside and be grounded and one with nature and going outside barefoot. We shoes and socks and all that was an invention.
Mhm.
And the people who live in the woods or in the tribes who live in the wild, they don't wear shoes, but they don't have cuts in their feet either. And they walk around on things that are sharp, jagged, dangerous, because our body adapts to its environment. Like
Mhm.
you think about when we go to get these pedicures and they have to scrape the callus off your foot. The callus is a hard covering. Maybe that's supposed to have been our shoes that was given to us by nature or God, but we rather wear Nikes because we want to look like everyone else. I am
Mhm.
when people say go hug a tree, it's like try it. You might feel something for real. Those are things that we look at people as weird as doing, but when they're doing it, they're maybe experiencing something that we would never experience because we won't ever do it.
Mhm.
And
So
and,
do
and
you think
it,
that, so I'm sorry, Ava, go ahead.
no, you can go ahead.
So do you think that that's where the true essence of life is our connection with nature and the things that are around us that we think that we have control over, but they're really these things are really supposed to be in control, and we follow the lead of nature. Do you think that?
Mm, I don't think we follow the lead of nature, but we are supposed to kind of work hand in hand.
Yeah.
Kind of like how, okay, well, plants live through photosynthesis.
Mm-hmm.
The chlorophyll in the leaves, which is their color, absorbs the rays from the sun to power them or give them life. That's their part of their food. Because they got to
Mm-hmm.
drink the water from the earth and all that. And if you think about it, we as humans, we literally absorb vitamin D through the sun. That's photosynthesis. And we're not much different than a flower. We can just walk around. Um, they have children, which are the buds, and the seeds that are spread out by the birds or and the bees spread the pollen from one flower to the next and stuff like that. It's all when you break it down for real, we're all the same.
Yeah.
We're just have educated ourselves to be so far attached from it that we don't
Mm-hmm.
see that there is a connection. Like people don't feel like flowers and plants and stuff have a consciousness, but
Mm-hmm.
to an extent they do. If you look, if say your flower is sitting in the middle of your room, but the window is over there where the sun shines, and you notice that that flower grows leaning like this, it's mind or it's consciousness that the sun is over there. I got to reach for it. It ain't just
Mm-hmm.
grow that way. Um, things of that nature, and it's so. far because part of my journey when I said I was studying ancient religions or ancient um, people or societies, it's like I used to ask my friends, what were we and what did we believe in before slavery? And nobody ever wants to think about that. Well, oh, that's the past. Well, I feel like you cannot understand your future or your present if you don't know anything about your past.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a valid question because our history here starts with slavery. And you have
Yeah.
to ask yourself, well, we weren't all living in huts because if that's the case, they would still only be huts in the areas that the people haven't taken over because they've taken over. And but even those people who lived in huts, they have their languages, their beliefs, their ways of life. What was ours
So we're spirit.
before we were,
So
huh?
we're spiritual beings having a natural experience.
Yes.
I like that. I like
I
that.
love that.
So let me throughout this interview, I heard you talk about your mom a lot and being a girl of a trans experience. It seems like you and your mom are close. Tell us about your mom and what she means to you and how she's had your back through these years.
My mom to me, I'm gonna say she's my hero. Like I think when I went to school before we had to tell about a hero or somebody we looked up to, and I think I named her. But my whole life, and again, like I said, she had to have known, but she never judged me. Um, Again, like at my grandmother's funeral, that was the day that my eyes opened to who my mother really was to me because we were getting
Mm-hmm.
dressed at my aunt's house to go to the church. She came in the room. She said, if anybody say something to you, you come and get me. And I took it in, but it took for me to say, oh, she was pretty much saying, baby, don't let nobody have nothing to say to you. You. And I was like, wow. Because through all of my adversities, my ups and downs, even though they were my fault, she was there. When I was in
Yeah.
jail for those 2.5 months before I got out, she went to my rent office each month and paid my rent.
Mm.
The 18 months that I was in jail, all of my stuff that I put in storage because they gave me that 30 days to prepare myself to go to prison, she paid that storage bill every month, along with putting the money on my books. And when the money ran out that I gave her, she made sure I had it. When I got out, she threw a big party. And my whole family, all of my friends, Nicole still talk about it to this day because it was the incident with my aunt had told Rose to move her car, and that was a funny situation. But it was like she's always celebrated me, even in times when I didn't need to be celebrated,
Mhm.
because she loved me.
Mhm.
Even
Yeah.
when I came to realize who I was, and I would sneak out of the house, and me and my friends would go to the store and park the car and get out and change the girls and go to the club and have fun. We would come back home. I would take all that off outside before I came in the house. But I had got my hair done, and I would keep a bonnet on. And one day she was like, well, why you always got that bonnet on your head, curly top? And I'm like, how she know my hair curled under here? And she was like, let me
Really?
see it. And I took it off, and she just looked at it. She said, oh. it's cute. And I was like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like from that moment, I it was okay to be me.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm.
come to her. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a sex change." She was like, "I hope you got $20,000." I'm like, "Oh, it doesn't even cost that much. I know people who've already had it."
Yeah.
And it's like that was that. She has always been there.
Mm. I love to hear that because a lot of us don't have that type of. A lot of gay
Right.
people, trans women and stuff, they don't have that type of experience with their mom and stuff. And I love to hear you talk about your mom because we all need that type of support, and we all need to know what it feels like to be loved and held up by people that you revere and that you that you care about. And you have a circle of girlfriends that you are crazy about, and y'all love each other. One is in the comments cutting up like
I
crazy.
mean, acting
Shivana
fool.
is
Is
making me
she?
laugh so hard in these
Yes,
comments. I'm trying not to read.
she is.
Okay. So what does
And
people
I
like?
can't see the comments, so I have
Good,
no clue.
good. That thing is crazy. What does people like Shavana, Christian Valentino, Taji, Ma, what do those type of girls mean to you? What does it mean to have that type of sisterhood?
Um, it it helps you to number one be grounded, to be aware of who you are and what you stand for. Because first of all, people like Shavana, if I think I'm confident, I'm an earthworm compared to her confidence. Because Shavana thinks her shit do not stink.
Yes, Shavana.
And she's never wrong about anything. So, just being around her, you're gonna see what it feels like to bitch be the top of the fucking line. Cause that's what she thinks she is.
I love
Cause
it.
she is just one of those people that's so articulate, even in her angry moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell this story, me and her, we were I don't know where we went. We went end up going to Captain D's
Mm-hmm.
on the way home. And I've got my fish. She got the sandwich, the chip fish sandwich, and baby, the bread was hard as a brick. She said, "I'm calling up there right now." And she called that man, and she was completely angry. She said, "Is this the manager?" And he was like, "Yes." She said, "I just wanted to let you know the type of food that you would put out of your window is unacceptable. How dare you give me a sandwich with the bread as hard as a brick? What am I supposed to do with this? My meal was $15. That's probably the amount of money that you make working an hour. So my meal wasn't worth you working 1 hour."
Yes, Taji. I love me some
I
Taji.
was just like, "Girl, what?" And it was just like she really tore him up, but it wasn't like, "You stupid bitch, my food." It was just very, "How dare you?" And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Oh, if you come back, I'll remake it. I don't think I'll ever be returning to your location." And I wouldn't want to if you paid me. And it was just crazy.
Yeah.
Even like the year she did MDU Grand, and I was with her when she went to Savannah's house to get her sportswear that she never got.
Oh,
And after going crazy when she called and left a voicemail, she said, "You don't have to ever worry about giving me. I wouldn't take that stuff from you. You'll never get an opportunity to wrap fabric around my body." And I was
that's some good old Chicago read. Shavana know how to read like that too.
girl.
Yeah, educated reads with it.
Yeah, and then Christian, she's another one. She thinks so highly of herself. But just being around them, and it just helps you to look at yourself in a better way. Because I tell people, I don't see me the way other people see me. I just
Mm-hmm.
see Ava, because I never forget. Like I said, it's about some others. They don't forget. They forget where they came from, and we all had a starting point. And I've always see my starting point because it's like I'm looking back at it to see how far I've gotten away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And some people,
Mhm.
they put up a wall so that their new starting point is they're already here.
Yes. Yes.
And so I don't see myself the way other people see me. And to an extent, I think that keeps me, you know, level headed and grounded because I'm a normal person. Like earlier, I wrote some
Mhm.
notes before we came live on some of the stuff you spoke about. You said people who only want to be seen in a good light. And I thought about it and I'm like, I'm one of those people, like I know you've witnessed, I've been in situations where I've broken shoes on stage, I've fallen down, all of these things. And to an extent, it makes you relatable
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
because people fall. People break
Mhm.
shoes, but they feel so they beat themselves up about it. And I try to tell them, well, baby, that happens. It happened to the best of us.
To the
Some of
best
the
of.
girls who are looked at the top line girls, wig have came off,
Mm-hmm.
and this, that, and the other, the breasts fall out their outfit or whatever. It's a part of life. You make mistakes,
Yeah.
you grow from them. And some people don't want to remember their mistakes or even make light of them because that makes them realize you're normal.
That's it.
Yeah.
And they can
Yeah.
relate to you as they look up to you. They can, know that it's a process. You don't always have to be in perfect condition to show up. Sometimes people need somebody to relate to, and I go for that. When I ask you about your sisters, I know that you went live not too long ago about another sister, right? Trinity Black, Chevalier Black. I watched your live, and I was telling Monica, my best friend, I'm saying, girl, Ava got me teary eyed and shit because I know that it took a lot for you to go live and talk about sad situations. Um, what was that moment that you boiled over and said, I've had enough. I need to go say something. And when I say something, because I can imagine that this is me just paraphrasing or just imagining. I can imagine you saying, when I get through her, it ain't no coming back from this type thing because there was certain things that were divulged in that lie that exposes people in a certain way, in a certain light. So what was that moment that made you boil over?
Mm, well, just to notate, I did before I even posted the post before the live. I said to myself, how is she going to feel after reading this?
Hmm.
I was like, and can I accept whatever consequences come along with it? And like I said earlier, when I said I had to choose, do I want to be the chosen one or do I want to be mean? I chose to
Hmm.
be mean. In that moment, I said, do I want to worry about how she's going to feel or do I want to care about how I feel? And I chose me. And
Mhm.
I just have to accept whatever comes along with it. If the friendship is completely over, then it just has to be over. We have to accept that everyone is not a part of our lives for our lifetime.
Yeah.
And I've always felt like because I have always had everybody I've known from my past, all of my friends are still my friends. Like my friend, I've spoken about my best friend Kiki. We've been friends since we were 12. We're still best friends. We've never had an argument ever in life. We cuss each other out all the time, or whatever. We don't even talk on a regular basis. But there's nothing that could ever make us end our friendship. And that's how I grew up in thinking that everyone is going to be there forever. And sometimes you have to accept if they're not. Like one of
Mhm.
our mutual friends, mine and Trinity's, came over the other day and she's told me, she said, I've known you for a long time. She said, there were things that you probably should have said a long time ago. to check her, to kind of reel her in that you just never did. And to an extent, that's your fault, but you let it boil over to that point. She was like, sometimes you have to reel her in, but you never did. So it allowed, let's just say, the monster to grow, at least
Mm.
towards me. And I can
And
accept that.
and those moments that you should have reeled her in, and I bet there was moments. What made you not do it? Because when you allow somebody to do something, you know this, and if you allow somebody to keep doing something, that says that I'm okay with. So why did you allow certain behaviors?
Because that's how I've always been. Like I tell people, or I've maybe said, like the instance when they said, "Oh, that gown is ugly." Oh, girl, well, this is what I wanted to wear. It didn't bother me. But in not letting something bother you, let's say every time you get ready to walk on stage, they say, "Oh, that gown ugly," because they want to see what you're gonna say. But you're like, "Okay, well, this is what I want to wear." They're going to continue to do it, and you have to come to that realization. Wait a minute, I'm feeding this monster, not knowing it, because I'm ignoring the action. And I'm like that with a lot of people and in situations. And that's why in that live, that's the only reason I brought up Dontrell, because I don't have any smoke with him. And when
Okay.
he made his post, I was like, okay, well, where is this going? I only brought his name up because in the dressing room that day at Universe, he said some things. And I was like, baby, who you talking to?
Mm-hmm.
And I just rebutted because I'm like, you can't keep overlooking stuff, no
Mm.
matter who it is. And but I gave her a lot of grace because it's like you look at someone and you see what they've been through or what they're going through or who they're trying to become, and you want them to get there, but you don't realize what baggage they may be carrying with them that's fueling their journey. Like how some people say they want to climb all the way to the top just so they can spit down on everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, that's kind of what I think that's how her mind is.
Mm.
She doesn't want to get to the top so that she can look amongst them. She wants to get to the top to look, I'm better than you now. Because she said some things like that to me. Oh, you can't tell me I've just glowed up. I glowed up and this and that. No other trans woman life. Her surgeries, whatever it is about them, affects mine.
Nothing.
So I don't understand when trans girls have this battle against each other, and it's weird to me because nobody's going to do these things to their body, changing their body and their chemical makeup with hormones and stuff to compare themselves to somebody else. That's ridiculous.
How long would you say you allowed that type of behavior to happen in your friendship?
Years.
Years.
Like I never got the, oh, I'm proud of you. Oh, I'm so happy for you. But I watched it happen for other people.
Mm.
You build them up to me. I don't know if you're building me up to them because I don't know. But you never, like how you and Dominic both kind of, I look at Ava this way and this and this and this.
Mhm.
I never got that from that friendship.
So it was more of a competitive friendship, if you will, or was it a
I mean,
friendship as you look back and you look through it in retrospect? Do you feel like it was a friendship or was just a friendship out of convenience?
to an extent, it probably was out of convenience.
And if you could
because
talk and if you can talk to her right now, what would you say?
number one, I don't dislike you. I don't have any grudge or anything against you. I did allow years of maybe pent in frustration to boil over, and it exploded. So the response probably came off much more harsh than it would have had it been in small increments. But, however you feel is valid. And whatever your stance is towards me after the fact is just how you feel, and I have no choice but to accept it. Because, as
In
I
that,
say, I'm
okay, go ahead,
someone who can be accountable for the things that I do. Like I told y'all earlier, anything I've done, I did it. I'm not ashamed of anything I've ever did or been through in my life because I went through it.
Mhm.
So if that just means that you look at me a different way or what have you, I just have to accept that. And that's just, it is what it is.
and when you did have that moment, and regardless of the methodology, did you feel like you had freed yourself on some level? Because
Mhm.
sometimes, when you let something be, be build up inside of you, and you finally unleash, regardless of how you unleashed it, you feel like, I may not be so happy about the way I did it, but you know what? I sure feel better about it. I mean, did you have that moment? Did you
Yeah,
release something that was
I did.
inside of you? Hmm.
I did. I
Oh
honestly
no.
did. Um, no shade. I think it's one of those situations where, okay, it's someone that you have a level of respect for. And let's say there are things, maybe they don't know that some of the things they do or say affect you in a negative manner. Maybe to them they're playing, but they continually do something. And in your head, you say, if I say something, I'm going to kind of go off a little bit. And so you just say, I ain't going to say nothing. It's okay. But after a certain amount of time, it
Hmm.
just like, bitch, I'm going to say it. Because there are other people within this industry that I just feel like need something said.
Mhm.
But you feel like if I say something, they're going to look at me differently. Even if you don't even go off, you
Mhm.
just feel like
Hmm.
if I say something, they're going to act differently.
Yeah.
Because I've had it happen before,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
years ago. I don't even know if anybody involved remembers this. And I hope me bringing this up doesn't rekindle or bring up anything. But back at the old jungle, when I was on the show, um, I remember one of our cast meetings. I told Nisha, I was like, I don't think I'm being compensated for the amount of work that I do here. I was like, I come to rehearsals, I'm in openings, I do the show and this and the other, and my compensation doesn't suffice. And she was like, oh, you're not going to play in my profession. I said, sweetheart, I'm well over 300 pounds dancing around in 5 and 6 inch heels. Do it look like I'm playing? And she was like, well, if you don't think that the amount of work that you do is worth what you're being paid, you don't have to worry about being in any more openings and rehearsals and things and that was the day that I became number one on the show every week.
So you got reprimanded for trying to negotiate a better salary.
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
And that kind of fueled me to say, if I'm gonna be number one, I'm gonna make them regret it. And that's why I came so hard on the show every time.
You used
Because I
to
think you're gonna have to come after me, everybody.
you used to slay that show upside down. You hear me? Upside motherfucking down. I'm talking about costume changes to another this to that. It was epic over there. How did you even get on the show?
It
'Cause they
was
won't let no girls
Nicole.
in. You couldn't get on that show. They won't let no girls in.
It was Nicole and Monty that pushed for it. Um, I don't even know what got me the first showing. I get because I was a part of the divas at the Armorettes. I mean, at
Mhm.
the Armory, which Naisha was part of that. Dominique Rashad, Paula Sinclair, of course, Tina DeVore was the show director, and there were other girls. So they saw that there was potential there, and there was raw talent that just needed to be shined up.
Mhm.
But I know it was after Black America. I had performed at the tracks maybe once or twice during that reign. Um, and I think Nicole just like, oh, I want my daughter on the show. And I guess because they didn't have any big girls besides Naisha, they added me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I was a novelty in the beginning,
Mhm.
or what have you. But like a lot of people who have been amongst them will say, being amongst those individuals, the caliber of people that they are, you have
Mm-hmm.
no choice but to become better at whatever it
Yeah.
is you're doing. Because number one, they're going to push you to be better, whether you like it or not. Whether the delivery is how you want it to be delivered to you or not, the message is there. And I do attribute them to kind of making me be who it is that the people love. Number one, making me number one, whether it was retaliatory or whatever, it made me a better entertainer. It made me have nice costumes and this and the other. It got me exposure being a part of that show and being on those DVDs. So whether I
Mm-hmm.
liked it or not, I was receiving something from it. It was just when you would be in the dressing room and you would see them get an envelope this big with a zipper on the top.
Yes, God. Because if
And
anybody
then,
know, they used to split the door. Yeah.
and then they come and give you your envelope like this, and you be like, what?
T.S. Scott, what's up, baby?
And back, especially back in those days, I'm just speaking like one Labor Day weekend.
Mm.
And it's me and some other girls who were part of the show then. We talk about this sometimes. They got each $2,100. And our little thank you envelope had $100 bill. And I was like,
Now, stars of the century.
but like even as to this day, at a job, which in essence that's what it is, there's seniority, which they talked about this at rehearsal towards someone else. Uh, and you just have to accept that. Like I see some of the newcomers now and they're like, oh, well, where's my lope? And this and that. And you don't understand at the time that you have to go up the rank
You got to go up the rank.
to become one of the girls. But people feel like because they are on that same show or in those same spaces that they're on that level. You're not. Like I was telling somebody, I was like, oh, icons like um Tasha Long and Tommy Ross. And they was like, oh, you don't see me as an icon? I said, you're not old as them. So you want me to put you in the same category as them? They've been around and done this stuff when we was talking about we was learning ABCs 1, 2, 3s. Didn't even think about didn't know this exist. Why would you think you're on their level?
Mm.
But
And
I heard somebody say one time that you don't you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And that made a lot of sense to me because um like even on movies when we film in movies, like the number one and number two song, they may make a certain thing, but somebody else who did the entire movie with them too is not making as much as they're making, but it's the same movie, it's gonna make the same amount of money. But sometimes you have to negotiate your worth. So after you was told that you didn't have to do the openings and stuff no more, that you still do 'em?
no,
Oh.
I was number one, which it would be opening or overture, opening, Sophia, Ava,
Ava. And you
Hey,
went number one for how long?
until I went to prison.
Oh, you went to prison again. You couldn't stay out. You left a man up there.
No, that was the only time I went.
Oh, okay. I was say, damn, you had a husband you was trying to get back to.
No, but it was from there because that was probably, let's say, 03, 04, whenever they moved to the jungle.
oh,
From whenever I joined the show there, however long it took for us to have that spat, from then until I went to prison, I was number one.
mm.
Yeah.
Well, you turned that number one spot, baby. Let me just tell you that. And I don't even think I realized, there was such a good time around that era of going out. That was such a good time because the club was always packed. Y'all always had some celebrity stop by. Y'all always it was like the place to be on Monday nights. What happened with Monday nights? Why we can't get that back? What do you surmise is the problem, the issue?
To me, um, I think number one is the location. You know, the Heretic is not necessarily a club that our fan base just loves to frequent. You know, not that it's a bad club, but it just like some people just don't like to go to the Marquette or what have you. I think it's kind of like that. It's not some place that you say, "Oh, I'm going there." And a lot of the entertainers who make up the show, though they are still those same people, they're older, so they don't bring that same type of energy. Some, because some of them are the same who they were then. Um, and people feel like, oh, they need fresh blood. But like I had to explain to someone, in bringing in fresh blood, when you have a certain caliber of show and a certain caliber of entertainers on this show, you can't just bring in anyone to be amongst that crew because it takes down the value. Kind of like you have a big neighborhood with $1 million homes. You can't come and build a 2 bedroom house and think that it fits in that neighborhood.
Mm.
No matter how nice that 2 bedroom house looks or the amenities within it, these are $1 million mansions. And
Yeah.
this 2 bedroom house just doesn't fit in.
It pales in comparison.
Yeah. And it took a while for me to kind of understand that, but when some others explain like that, they don't explain it in that way. So the message again can be missed because of the delivery. But and I do think there could be changes made or people brought in who could, breathe life or what have you. But it's just also in this day and age. A lot of the
Mhm.
people who were the regulars are older. They've moved or they have certain type of jobs or whatever where they can't really come out late at night. And then there's a whole new generation of people who may not even know about the show. Or if they do, they don't like the location. Or, oh, I don't want to see a show. I want to come out and hang out or whatever. It's just so many different things that play into it that we would never pinpoint a reason.
Mhm.
But
Everything is changing. Everything is different. The entertainers are different. The people who like to view shows is different too.
Or
You know,
different, right?
the clientele that they once had, everybody got old. Everybody just want to go home and lay down and soak their feet and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different time for and in the younger generation, I don't feel like the next set of girls was ever set up down here in Atlanta. The next wave of girls and their fans coming along. I think things got too commercial and people just you can just watch everything on your phone now. So it's
that's part of it too.
yeah, you can just watch
You
everything on your
you
phone.
don't have to go to a show. First of all, somebody in the audience recording it, pageants too, and it's like you can watch it, rubbing your toes together in your drawers, drinking sodas and eating cereal, and watch a show, and you ain't got to tip
Mhm.
nobody, pay no entry fee or nothing. It's like, and back in the days, I tell people you could when it was only the VHS tape.
Hmm.
You could go compete at EOY, win or lose. Take that same package and go to Continental, win or lose. Take that same package and go to EOY, I mean USA, win or lose. And every single time when you came out, they losing it like they never
Yeah,
seen it because
like
they
they never
had
seen it
to.
before.
But
That's so crazy.
now you can go compete for Miss Cocoa Butter, baby. And when you go to compete for Miss Rub Me Down, oh girl, she just wore that thing down.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
bitch, if I paid $2,000 for this now, did you think you was seeing it once? Think
Right.
Listen,
again, bitch. Think
Oh my
again.
goodness.
because you remember we used to know what every girl was gonna wear for gown because we knew they gown. The people that was there. Ava gonna wear her blue. Doree gonna wear her red gown. It was just we just knew which gown was which, and you just take a chance on which one gonna fare out well. If it worked, it worked. Nowadays, people want you to change gowns for every pageant, which is unreal. If it worked, it worked. You remember Desiree De Mornay? I think she won every national pageant in that brown root beer gown. She could never lose
Baby,
down in that.
the year I did Continental Plus, I watched her take it out of a Ziploc bag. It was
Yeah.
stiff, like snot tissue, and you got to pull it apart. And I'm like,
Uh,
girl, what? And I think she won, girl. With
always
it
wore a
on.
gown in that
I
gown.
was like,
Every time.
bitch.
It fit her body so nice. But if a girl can't beat it, they just can't beat it. Why I need a new one? Bitch, y'all need one that can beat it.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
I tell people all the time, just because you get something new, don't mean it's better.
Yes, she did, Cortez. Tanisha, even at that red gown, she wore it everywhere. Like she would lose universe and go do 20 pageants that year. You have to make your money back off this shit. You have to make your money back off this shit. Y'all want people the average gown gonna run you 3,000. If
Okay,
you're getting a nice gown. Like why I gotta change every time? Shit. It's
I'm gonna
crazy.
wear it to the wheels fall off for it. That like you brought
Right.
up that blue, baby. Literally, I
Yeah.
made that blue gown in 2006 because
Wow.
remember before that I had a black one that I wore at Continental Plus.
Uh-huh. I
It
remember
was
that one.
stoned the same way. It
Uh-huh.
was in that car when a man knocked on my door.
Wow.
And I made the blue one, and that was 2006 when I made that blue dress. I won
Wow.
gown at Black Continental that last time I did it in 2018.
Wow.
One gown.
Savannah St. James made a green gown for somebody in Memphis, Tennessee. Stanisha got it right to this day. That was 25 years ago. They still have that same gown. 26 years ago. And it still look good and it still wins category. It is crazy. Good drag is good drag. It's just what it is. It'll always be. But Ava, like you got a lot of children and grandchildren that love you and look up to you. One of my favorite kids of yours is Queasy. Queasy was another hilarious being that used to have me dying laughing all the time. And sometimes y'all would go live and carry. Do you hear me? Yes, Trey Son, the frog out. But she would have me dying. Y'all would have me dying laughing. What do you think Queasy would be saying about you right now with everything that you've acquired and accomplished in your life at this moment? What do you think she would say to you or feel about you?
Well, first of all, the first thing she would say is, I made you great. You wouldn't be anything without me. You know, that's how she feel. And I think she would be next up. I
I think
think had
so.
Queasy still been around, she would be some of these girls that are walking around as formers
Yes.
wouldn't.
Real talk. Real talk. How did you meet her? What do you meet her at?
I went to Montgomery to compete for this pageant called Miss Firecracker.
Okay.
This was like not long after I gave up Black America. And I got there late. I was on the road. It was the Fat Boys pageant. And I called them and said, "Oh, I'm running late. I'll be there. You know, I can pay my entry fee or whatever, blah, blah, blah." Not knowing they have went to the contestants. Oh, we have someone come in. Her name is Ava, blah, blah, blah. So from what I've heard, because Trinity was in that pageant too, um, that they was like, Queasy was the ringleader. Oh no, she can't do it if she's not here, if she wasn't here for registration or whatever. Just some fat bitch that won Black America, fuck her, you know, all of that. I didn't know any of this. So when I got there, they was like, "Oh, well, they did a vote. They didn't want you to do the pageant because you weren't here. We'll let you judge and perform." So I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And so I judge, and I'm looking at a score sheet. Now, just imagine me. I pick it up. Never been in Montgomery in my life. And I'm looking at the people in the judges panel next to me. No shade, but I'm like, boogers. And I'm looking at the score sheet. I'm like, 100 points per category. I'm like, if it's 100 points, I surely can't take off one. So on all of my score sheets, I broke each category into 4 subsections.
Okay.
25, 25, 25, 25. So maybe at the end of the night, everybody hated me. They cussed me out. You fat bitch. How could dare you? Because I took off in this category 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. This category 4, 5, 4. So instead of 98s and maybe 90s that they was getting from other people, they were getting like 70s and 60s
God
and stuff from me.
damn.
So, and you know, that's back in the days of Carrie Fairfield,
Oh
baby.
yes, I
Queasy
remember Carrie Fairfield.
and her kids had laid me out on Carrie Fairfield. This fat bitch, who does she think she is? And all of this. And I was like, I'm sorry, I just judged what I saw. And, da, 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 da. And I inboxed her because I watched her and I was like, bitch, who is this? She had did big time.
Yes.
And they had, it got to that certain point, they lifted her up on their shoulders. And then that beat had hit and they lifted her up higher. I said, bitch, she got potential. Who the fuck is that?
Uh,
And I inboxed her and I was like, "Oh, I was looking at you and I think you have potential. And I thought about making you my daughter." And she was like, "Oh, I was talking to my kids and I said I wanted you to be my mom." Probably was lying in that
yeah.
moment, but she saw an opportunity and she jumped on it. Because I'm sure you were reading me. You weren't telling them you want me to be your mama, bitch.
Right.
But, and it was like, we were just alike.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
were 2 peas in a pod, but that bitch was nuts.
She was disgustingly nuts. You hear me? You hear me? I can remember one time Jazz Bonet was getting ready for Continental, and we was at her house over at Lennox Woods, and Jazz was down there cutting the little stuff out, all the clothes and stuff out, and Queez just came out of her bedroom, butt ass naked,
Uh-huh.
everything big everywhere. Jazz Bonet's like, Queasy, you're disgusting. What are you doing? That shit was hilarious. I really do miss Queasy a lot, man. We had great times, really, really great times. So yeah,
Yeah.
Ava, I can talk to you all night long because you're so funny. You're a fucking comedian. I think you missed your calling. It ain't too
I
late. You can
I
always go
did
to.
stand up one time.
Did you? How did that go?
It went good. I was scared. I got drunk, but
Uh,
I did it and I enjoyed it. And I've thought about doing it again. I don't know. I'm
I really,
scared of getting up there and not having anything to say.
but you keep one.
Mhm.
I be on the road with Miss Pat, and I had Miss Pat laughing so hard. She said, "Boy, you really should be a comedian." And I want to get up there, but I can't even get past the part of getting on the stage, right? Um, but I always ask her because she had times when people heckle sometimes, but they advise them not to. But she's so quick, she pop off on theirs and get her back in line. And I said, "Well, how do you always stay prepared?" She said, "You always keep one or two in the chamber to fire off at any time that you can use on anybody, right?" So I thought about that. I'm like, okay, I can keep one in the chamber, but there's just something I really want to do too. But I think you should too because people like you and Shavana are the funniest people. Y'all will have people laughing until they like fall out. That's why I say I'm so glad you want MBU because now you can start emceeing parts of the pageant because you're so funny and you're good on the mic. I think your talent should be utilized. And I'm telling these people to do it. They pageant like I own. But I'm hoping like they say, here, Ava, here go the mic. This is your segment or whatever. Because you are so fucking funny that it doesn't make sense. And y'all are quick on y'all feet. So yeah. So um thank you for being a part of this sit down with us. I've really enjoyed this sit down and this conversation with you. Before we leave, do you have any gems you want to leave for the kids to live on, to think in their head, to refer back to?
Well, one of the things is I do want to speak to some of these newcomers. When you have these parents or mentors and they tell you some of these things, they're telling you for you to avoid the mistakes that they've already made so that you can be the best version of you. Nobody's at you. Nobody's trying to stop you from being whatever. They're trying to stop you from making the mistakes so that you can be better quicker. Sometimes just take their advice.
Mhm.
And don't be afraid to step up. It don't
Mhm.
mean you're gonna win. It don't mean you're necessarily going to equal up to a quote unquote veteran because they're a veteran because they've done it for so long that they know how to do this to be successful. It's not always all about how much you spent on your gown or how many stones or none of this. It's how you embody it and sell
Mm,
it. Like I tell people all the time from the beginning of my career, even when I was battling the skinny girls, I never had to have the baddest shit in the pageant. My
Mhm.
goal was to have the least amount of flaws.
that's it.
Mhm.
So
That's
you
it.
ain't got to like it. It ain't got to be better than hers, but baby, whatever you got hers for, you're not getting mine for. It
Yeah.
fit, it looked nice, and I'm modeling it well. And that's the mindset that you have to go into it with. The object of a pageant is to win, not to send the crowd up, not to all of that. Baby, the crowd don't matter to me. I went to places where maybe they hot girl in that city is in the pageant, so they don't want nobody to beat her.
That's
They
it.
don't give a fuck if you came in there looking like Jasmine Bonet in her prime, butt naked with a strip of plastic going up your crotch.
Yeah, she
They
did
not
good at
clapping.
becoming one.
Baby, I would come out there and be dead solid, and do what I got to do, baby. Get my score and get the fuck on. You ain't got to
Yeah.
clap for me, baby. You ain't shaking me.
I know that's
But
right.
just and be you.
And
You
be
know,
you.
Yeah.
there are certain things about each person that makes them who they are.
Yeah.
Everybody
Right.
don't have to like it, but if that is something specific to you, as long as it's right, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because for me, the confidence that I had, like you said, in my mind, I must be 150. that worked for me. It might not
Mhm.
work for everybody, but
Yeah.
it worked for me and I stuck to it because that's who I was. I did look at Stasha and Raquel down and I'd be like, huh, they're jealous of my waistline, honey. You know, that's how I used to feel. I'm like, huh, whatever.
Not the other way around, honey. I know
Yes,
that's right.
oh, honey, they're jealous of this. This time I used to say, honestly, I had a dressing room. I said, oh, honey, they're jealous of this, this, and this.
Okay.
My mug, my waist, and my shape.
That's it. That's it. Because bitch, I don't see you. Trinity said it best. Trinity Bonet. I don't see none of you hoes. That's how
Yeah.
you got to feel about it. You really have to, and I know they took that as a read, but you really have to feel like that about yourself because comparison is the thief of joy. Once you start comparing yourself to other people, then you lose your joy because you stop appreciating what you have, worrying about what you don't have. You know what I'm saying? Everything makes up a great show. If everybody got on the show looking the same, being the same, doing the same thing, then that'll be a terrible show to come watch. So everybody has something different to offer, and I love that you said that with the new comments. Step up, take a chance. But somebody wants to stop by and say somebody has been in these comments wearing it out, baby. And look,
Oh, Lord.
See,
The lies, the lies.
that's one person. She wouldn't be. I made her great.
oh, you made
See,
Shavonna great.
yes, let me tell you, Shavonna's first national West one. I made her win that. I bust my head wide open on the stage and her talent.
You sure did have a big
I
knot
didn't
on your
even,
head, man.
I didn't even get
and,
to see her
and
win.
let me tell y'all how horrible it was because Ava would have never noticed. Nothing was wrong with her head. And she was like, it's, it's my head. I said, no, it's okay. You're going to be all right. And then Queasy big fat ass going to come up. Oh my God, you need to go to the emergency room right now. It made a big spectacle, but Ava did bust it. Let me tell y'all something about Big Ava. Big Ava does not have a mean spirited bone in her body. Trey threatened to shoot her, and she was still talking nice to him. Like she was still this boy. And I was in the comments asking for you to tell the story about when the boy stole your phone number from you from the information that you gave him,
Uh-huh.
and you never told the story, sweetie.
I can't
However,
see the comments.
I know, but I wanted you to tell that story. However, I want to let everybody know exactly what kind of girlfriend Ava is so that you know that her feelings are valid. Well, I won Miss Gay USA. It's no secret to nobody. The date of my preliminary, I put all my things in storage, and I slept in my car every day, every night. On the If I was off the road and not in a hotel or staying in the collector's house, I slept in my car. From the time that was August 26th, I won Miss Gay USA September the 18th. I slept in my car until the beginning of October when Ava spoke to a friend who told her what was going on, and she called and told me, "You do not have to sleep in no car. That's no reason for you to be there. You have friends that you can call on." And she allowed me to move in her home and bring from her home, assisted me through my rain, gave me money when I needed it, lifted me when I was down, and assured me that I was going to be okay when I left Georgia coming to Chicago. And my backbone for that year when I lost everything I had. So it pays to have people like her in your life. And when someone does your friends wrong, it affects you to a point to where you're ready to retaliate for them. But over the years, I've learned to let my friends handle their battles because I'll be mad at someone and hating them, and these bitches will be right back speaking to them hoes in the next couple of weeks. So, like I was saying, Ava doesn't have a mean spirited bone in her body. And I love you for that, sister. Thank you for being my sister. Thank you for always saying yes and never saying no. And even when you do say no, you still try to find time to do shit for me. I appreciate you and I love you. And I'm very proud of everything you've done, and I'm very happy to call you my girlfriend. And thank you for making my years in Atlanta experience. And I wish you weren't as stupid as you is sometimes, but you'll get on.
Oh, well, since you're on here, because you came to my house when I used to have that wall of fabrics. And you
That
saw those.
nasty ass, that nasty ass apartment that you had that when you was over in the States.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I would tell them when you lived at my house when you was USA, how you had that surge protector plugged up and it had burnt my carpet because it caught on fire. Oh.
And that was not me.
Yeah.
First, we was finna die up in that bitch though. I could tell you some other stories too. Anyway, I want Ava to tell you about the time that she let Trey steal her phone number. Please tell them what
Okay.
you
This
did.
story gonna take us out of here, Ava. Ava, give us the story about the stolen phone number.
Okay, it was this guy that I met online and we had and all of that. So I was riding him around and he was just talking about his baby mama, Quanda. Just remember that name, Quanda. But he would
Wanda.
just talk about her, and I'm like, I really don't care. I'm like, okay, whatever. Drop him off, and like, I think we met up maybe a couple of times. And one day, he called me. He's like, man, how old you is for real? And I'm like, why? How old you is? Told him how old it was. When your birthday? Gave him my birthday. Not knowing, because I had Metro PCS. Metro PCS, when you sign up for them, your birthday is your password to your whole account.
Oh,
So after he done asked me them questions, I was at my mama's house doing her hair. And so I on my way home, I go to call him to say, why are you asking me these questions? And that thing said, this phone isn't set up for service. And I was like, what? So it was raining. I'm thinking, oh, the rain. So I get home, just keep trying to use the phone. This phone isn't set up for service. You're not on the network. I'm puzzled. Get up, go to Metro. They couldn't find my account. I'm like, what? You got to go to the corporate store. Go to the corporate store. I'm just, ma'am, I don't know what's going on. Can't find my account. Then she was like, oh, I have this account, but it's under this name. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, someone called in or whatever, and they changed the phone number and the password and switched it to a different phone. I'm like, how is that possible? So I'm like, well, ma'am, what's the name on there? I said, well, that's my name. And you turn that phone off and switch it back. The phone number he called me from was his homeboy. I called that number back. His name was Gary. I said, Gary, do you know Quanda? He said, yeah, I know Quanda. She live around the corner from me. I said, for real? I've been trying to get in touch with Quanda. Oh my God, tell her Tasha trying to reach her. Didn't know that the trade that I messed with sister name was Tasha. So that was God. So he rushed to tell Quanda that Tasha was trying to get in touch with her. And Quanda called me. I said, I just want to let you know that Nick has been to my house and he came over and he's had homosexual sex with me. And I'm a transsexual and this, that, and the other. And she was like, oh, honey, I use him for his school check. He a college nigga and he's stupid. And I'm pregnant and this ain't even his baby and all of this. She laid him. So, honey, she was like, "Dad, I really be fucking with his cousin and all of this." So I'm like, well, yeah, girl. And he stole my phone service and this, that, and the other. And I'm pissed off. So and she was like, I'm going to call him, confront her. I said, well, if he denies anything, call me on three-way. So I'm sitting there minding my business. She calls me back. Yeah, I got him on three-way. He said, I don't know who the fuck you is, man. Don't lie to me. I said, oh, Nick, honey, whatever, baby. You shouldn't have did what you did. That's some weird ass shit. How you even know how to steal somebody's phone service out of Man, I don't know you. I'll kill you. I said, how you going to kill me if you don't know where I live? Fuck you. And all this cussed him out. She have called his whole family. and told them he fucking with a transsexual. They have all called my phone one after the other. His brother, his cousins, his
Hey,
aunties,
you know,
everybody. And I am devastated. I'm like, I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I just want to teach him a lesson. So one of the cousins, a girl cousin, she was like, "Oh, he did the same thing to my auntie. That's how I know he did that and this and the other. Is you a transsexual for real and all of this?" I'm like, "Yes." So she want me to send her a picture. I sent her a picture. Oh, I hang out with you and all of this. I don't want to hang out with her. So then his brother called, "Man, I can't believe this shit. I raised this nigga. How can he fuck with a nigga?" I said, "Sweetheart, let me explain you something. I look good. I'm sickening. I look like a woman. I don't gotta fuck. I don't want to hear that shit. This man going out wild and all this." So I had a temporary phone number because they had to recycle my phone number through the system for me to get my
uh,
number back. So all this time they calling it temporary number, and I was like, "Oh, at least when I get my number, I won't have to hear from them no more." So eventually, my phone number recycled back to me, and the temporary number went away. So I didn't talk to them no more. But he had to learn a lesson. But one of my homegirls still used to mess with him after that, and he still to this day, "Yeah, your friend every while," but he had to learn.
Dumb bitch.
just listen. He plays through the game. He gets
Ava
through the crowd.
Ava also got dropped off at a house with this girl, Chanel, and she went in there. It was a house full of boys, and after she had the boy, he found out her teeth, and then they all stopped chasing her to the car, and Chanel locked the door and pulled off.
Shavana. Well, if you're going to tell the story, tell it properly. We went to the sports bar, me and my niece, and we used to tear down two fat girls, baby. And I was a little tipsy, but I wasn't tipsy for real. And I was dancing on the boy, and he pulling his thing out, and I'm dancing on it, and all that. He said, "I'm going home with y'all." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." So we left, and he begged us to come to his apartment. We parked outside. I'm talking to him. Then his brother come out, and the brother fine as a dirt dog talking to Chanel. She's scary because she's young. I'm confident, and I'm Ava. I'm real as rain. So I decide I'm going in the house. He said it's only him and his brother and their nephew or something. I go in the house. First of all, it's a kid on the sofa and another guy. And I'm like, okay. We go to the room. And when he opened the door, he reached in and turned the light off before he opened the door. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. We walk in the room. It's a boy on the floor asleep. But I'm like, honey, there's someone in here. He sleep. He sleep. He ain't gonna see us or whatever. So I'm survival mode. I take the chair, put the back to the wall. I'm like, okay, you stand in front of me. And I'm just like, so the boy on the floor wake up. He like, "Man, what y'all doing?" I'm like, "Hold up, honey, what's going on here? I'm not with all of this." So he come over and I'm like, "How old are you, honey?" He like, "I'm 18." I'm like, "How, little boy, you can't handle me." And he put that thing like, "Oh." I was like, So, and while I'm doing that, they knocking on the door. I'm like, "Oh no, nobody else can't come in
Me
here."
next. Me,
I
I
was like,
got next.
"Don't open that door." So the first original boy, when he finished, he goes out the door and leaves it open. I swear to you, 6 boys was lined up. I said, "Let me tell you something. Y'all think I'm drunk? I'm not drunk. I'm not doing this because I'm drunk. I'm doing this because I want to. And we're going to do it my way. Nobody touches me, and it's one at a time."
No, man.
That's when they got her.
And, and I had started, I was going to go down the line. And honey, another boy came in. I said, "Oh, wait a minute, baby. Y'all are calling people at this point. This ain't going how you think it's going to go."
Oh,
So then I heard somebody say, "Uh-oh, time to go." So my brain said, your tea. So I said, "Uh-oh, time to go." So I gets up and I'm trying to leave, and they follow me. Don't go, baby, don't go. I'm like, yes, man, I gotta go. I get outside. Chanel sees all the boys behind me. She locks the door. I'm beating on the door. Let me in, bitch. Let me in. And she let me in. I said, bitch, why would you unlock the door? I seen all them coming. I got scared. I said, you don't lock the door until I get in, bitch.
Oh,
Bitch was finna hit
So
your ass.
oh,
they was begging us to come back in the house and all of this. We left. And as we're leaving the complex, the boy called my phone. Man, my homeboy said you was a man. I said, who said that? Because I beat his ass. He a lie. And I hung up the phone. I said, bitch, you fight for your teeth to the end.
oh, oh,
And we
oh.
left.
No, no, no
Dominique,
more, Shabana. No, no,
Dominique,
no, no, no,
Dominique,
no, no,
please go to
no,
that.
no.
Dominique, please go to that piano and play. You're number one.
Lee, Shavana, you not gonna
Please
fuck
go
with
play.
this.
You're number
Listen,
one.
listen, this has been so much fun, y'all. Thank y'all so much for doing this. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and having a good time with me and the girls on Beyond the Filter. Shavana, you know how I feel about you. Ava, I
I
love you.
love you, baby.
Uh, love you, Dominique. Thank y'all. We love y'all for watching and tuning in to us. And
Good night.
this has been so much fun. I ain't laughed like this in so goddamn. I don't think it's made me laugh like this. Girl, y'all crazy.
I
Y'all
got so many stories. I have lived a life, honey.
listen. We gotta invite you back for part 2 of just the stories.
Okay.
We gotta do a stories thing, right? I really enjoyed you. Thank you so much, Ava, and I love y'all. We'll see y'all next Thursday with Monica Overking, the sportswear queen. No one, we'll get to delve a little deeper into her life and the things that she's experiencing through life and stuff. And thank y'all. We love y'all for free. Bye bye,
Love you
Good
too.
night.
Thanks for having me.
baby. Y'all
Bye.
have to.